All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom! And welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Dirty Duck. If your coffee sucks, it's not the duck. I'm Jeff Stanfield with Flat Earther, world famous Andy Shaver.
I've become a flat earther now.
Everybody's starting to wonder that. With us today,
Man that's going to debunk me.
yes, a private captain,
PJs, flying them PJs.
G5s, G4s, the way Andy's famous, the famous Andy likes to travel himself, Mr. Zach Bailey. Zach, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, gentlemen. Good morning. How are y'all?
So, did you tell me you grew up in Destin, Florida?
Destin, Florida.
That'd be a good place to grow up.
It's changed so much now. Back in the day, now the big Bass Pros there, Destin Commons, all that. You remember? I mean, I'm only 27. I mean, you remember when it was nothing.
Let me tell you something about that. I'm 55. When I was 7, 8, 9 years old, we would go to Destin in the summer for vacation. When I was probably, I'm going to say 78 or 79, so I was probably about 10. There wasn't nothing there. I mean, it was literally just a little sleepy village on the Florida Panhandle. So when we went to St. George Island, I guess probably about 06 maybe, Andy, is that right?
Yeah.
And
06, 07, right.
I hadn't been there in 20 years, and I was shocked at the fucking traffic jams and shit. That's a big ass metroplex now of people.
No, really, and 98. It's almost like a Houston, Texas highway now. I mean, it's just gone. I think it's 3 lanes, 4 lanes in some spots now, going through, Destin proper, and then you get out towards 30A, and those people are, mind of their own. So, yeah, it's changed a lot, that's for sure.
Beautiful place, though.
It is a beautiful place. The water there's amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say I grew up flying there. That was you could sit at 500 feet and see everything. I mean, you'd see the bottom. I mean, there's not too many shipwrecks, but you'd see dolphins, sharks, whales all the time. So it was nice. Growing up fishing as well. So
it's crazy the amount of wealth that they say is just sitting on the bottom of the ocean floor, just out there somewhere.
Oh, I know. I mean, you go Bahamas. Talk about if you fly into the Bahamas, you have Nassau, and then there's a couple of the private islands. Which, a few of them have airports and you fly in and out of. You'll see these huge lagoons, and you'll, no kidding, see shipwreck, big hole, shipwreck. I mean, the entire time flying in. So,
I guess one of these private islands we're talking about is the Epstein Island. He had a private little airstrip there himself.
I've never been to that one, but
Thank goodness.
I was gonna say, when a friend of mine, I was gonna say girlfriend now, and she's been invited 5 times by Johnny Depp to his private island. She said no all 5 times. That's my claim to fame now.
Really?
To Johnny Depp's private island, or for Epstein's private?
Johnny Depp's.
Okay.
How's that connection even possible?
Well, she's a flight attendant, and
she's a smoke show, is what you're telling us.
Yeah. So she's not hard on the eyes, that's for sure. And no, but that's my claim to fame. They flew, I think 5 times. So he was just a regular passenger. And apparently he's a great guy. I'd like to meet him, shake his hand, and say, hey, you got a good taste too.
She's actually going home with me, so you've got incredible taste, but just, you almost had her.
Yeah, I told her, I was gonna say I always say, he can invite me and we both can go. It'll be all right. So.
They've got, I guess there's a new Netflix documentary about Depp v. Heard or something like that. So I might have to check that out. That kind of gripped me for a little bit.
No, I know. Well, that was our busy time of the year, so I never watched the trial. But at least from his, and I don't know anything about the trial or anything like that. But from what I heard, he's a great guy to talk to. Very artistic, can sing well, paint, the whole thing. So I don't know if we're choosing sides on that one, but.
Oh, she was a fucking batshit gold digging whore, is what she was.
Well,
Was she?
I'm going.
Well, no, she's an actress too.
Is she an actress or she just sleep with the right people?
I mean,
that's like saying Kamala Harris is a good vice president.
That sounds like that's most of Hollywood. It's all about who you sleep with.
Well, that's probably true.
Who was that? Was it Weinstein,
Yeah.
the producer?
Well, I mean, there are allegations that Jennifer Lawrence did that to get the Hunger Games role, and like nobody knew who she was until the Hunger Games came out. So the press has pressed her a little bit, and she has alluded to the fact that there were some inappropriate exchanges. So
there wasn't an
knocking Amber Heard for saying, well, is she an actress or did she just sleep with the right people? That's most of Hollywood.
Does she have any kind of prominent roles? Is she a
she
good
was an
actress?
Aquaman.
I haven't seen Aquaman.
I haven't seen it either, but it was a hit.
There's a good chance if your ass was sitting on Gilligan's Island in 1965 and you were female, you probably slept with someone to get your role.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's what they. That's how Marilyn Monroe got all of her roles. So, God rest her soul.
Yeah.
And boy, they had good taste because she was a hottie for sure.
Yeah, but some of the people she had to sleep with wasn't all that great.
But that's Hollywood in a nutshell. I seen where while we're talking off the record of what we're going to talk about being a pilot and stuff, did you see that there's a bunch of children missing in Hawaii now?
Yeah,
that's a terrible tragedy over there. But it makes you wonder how many of them kids are just disappeared or not on an island somewhere. I mean, it's sad the way our world is and how we think about stuff these days.
I'm not even going to think about that.
Well, that's just the way the world is. If Oprah's involved, something's wrong. Zach, can you hear us? Or we lose you again? I think we lost Zach again.
Earlier, he could hear us, but we'll see.
Zach, if you can hear us, wink.
He's frozen. But yeah, I'm not even gonna go there, Jeff.
On the Hawaii deal?
Yeah,
it's absolutely terrible.
Well, I don't even know why you would think that way.
Why I would think that way?
Yeah,
because there was 400 kids at the school system. There's 200 kids missing.
Right? Well, they had a major fire go through there, Jeff.
Well, I don't trust anyone to do with our government, and I don't trust anything about that. There's something fugazi happened in Hawaii. Oh, it's not just a normal fire.
Might be fugazi the way that they've told you the Earth is round all these years. We'll trust the government on that. It's okay, Jeff.
Oh, you're gonna buy into this flat Earth shit.
I'm not buying into it, but here's the thing. To just easily dismiss it is one thing.
To easily dismiss what?
The flat Earth. To just be like, no. They've told us the truth on that. But then with this, they have a tragic fire. We've all seen the fire, and you're like, yep, kids are on an island somewhere. They're sex slaves now.
No.
That's where your mind.
There's kids missing.
That's something. No, but you said that they're probably on an island somewhere.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me.
Okay, no. But for your mind to go there on a fire, but to just hand wave the flat Earth thing away and hand wave the moon landing away. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, speaking of moon landings, India landed an unmanned craft today on the moon.
That's what they tell us.
So you don't buy into any of the moon stuff?
I don't.
So if you can't see it, you don't believe it?
Like 100%? Can you do that? Like, it's got to be a percentage, right?
The moon landing, I have questions on. The flat Earth, I don't.
But it's just how much of it do you believe?
I'm waiting for you to explain to me what flat Earth part you believe. What part of the flat Earth do you believe?
Less than 50%.
Less than 50? Shit, that's way up there still. So like 48% or like 36 or like 12?
Between 20 and 30.
Between 20. So you... So you're 20% on board that the Earth's flat.
Yeah. Probably about the same that I am with... the moon landing.
I'm probably 30% on the moon landing, but I'm like 100% that the Earth is not flat.
100%?
That the Earth is not flat.
You've seen everything. I've done all your own
satellites
research.
Orbit. Yes.
You don't think that there's any way that could be CGI? Not any part of you.
CGI. Yeah. I've seen the fucking satellites fly for years over. You can sit outside and watch satellites go over across the stars are moving. Yes, that's a satellite way up there.
But nothing you're at 100%. I don't see how you can be at 100%. That's like absolutely certain, laid eyes on it.
So when Sputnik got put in the atmosphere in the 60s, you think it was all part of the big plan for 2023?
I don't know what Sputnik is. You there, Zach?
Can you hear us, Zach?
He's probably heard this whole thing and he's just been waiting to interject.
He changed now.
Can you hear us? Nope, lost him again.
Yeah, you got me.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear us?
I can.
We're having a debate on this flat
We're
Earth
not
bullshit.
having a debate.
Andy is 30% that the Earth is flat.
Between 20 and 30.
I'm 99.
Relatively low.
No,
I'm 100% the Earth is round.
I was gonna say I heard y'all's conversation. So again, 100% the Earth's round, right? That's my stance of it. Now, with that being said, you can't unless you're an astronaut, you can't prove it,
right? So that's where I'm at the 100%. Like I'm not 100% on anything.
You're 30% the Earth's flat. Right. That's a big percent.
Is it?
30%? Yeah.
That's less than that's. No, that's not big at all.
That's riding the special bus 30%.
Right. That's not good.
No, for you it's not. You're right. You're not, Andy. You're coming across.
No.
So
if you're at 30%, that's less than. So
we know percents.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I didn't know, Jeff.
So tell us, Zach, as a pilot, what's the highest you've ever flown altitude-wise? 50,000 feet? 40,000?
45. Coasted back from Germany yesterday at 45. So.
Can you see the curvature of the Earth from up there?
Okay, so I would argue yes and no. Like you could argue that point either way, right? Because I mean you'd have to get a laser level protractor out. But when you're at like dawn and dusk is when it's the best time on like one of those perfect days. You can tell it's not a perfect flat. Especially another thing when you're weather. So let's say there's y'all are in West Texas, y'all are familiar with those huge 60, 70,000 foot thunderstorms, right? If I take off from LA and we climb straight to altitude, in theory you'd be able to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Now with that being said, you have haze in the atmosphere, and I'm 100% Earth round, but you have haze in the atmosphere and all that. But I mean, in theory, if it was flat, you'd be able to see, weather over Texas from LA.
How close do you have to get to it before you can start seeing it on the horizon? Arizona, New Mexico?
It's usually, I would say probably, let's say we'll use, Tyler, Texas, for example. So just on the other side of Dallas. You'll start seeing it right around the Panhandle region, around Lubbock, generally on a perfect clear kind of day, haze layer or anything like that. In general, and then another thing too, I was gonna say, I know. So I'll be completely honest with you. We had a pilot that was 100%, not 30, not 20, not 50, not 60, 100% flat earther.
Why?
Okay.
But why?
Why was he a flat earther? I could go and look it up. We did a Q&A session with him. When you go on the airplane for 9 hours, you get bored. So, I mean, he was talking about the Earth's on pillars. He can prove it, that the sun doesn't, it's like a hole in the sky or something like that. And the Antarctica is an ice wall. But again, it was more or less like we just needed shit to talk about. And, it's a pretty good one.
That'll get you about 6 hours. So
at least 6-7 hours.
But I have been painted into this flat Earth corner, and I'm not. I'm not a flat earther. You just said
30%.
20 to 30%. I can't say with any degree of certainty. That's more that's more likely that the Earth is round than it is that it's flat in my mind. But I can't get to 100% because I've never seen it.
If you have No, I'm even going to say that analogy because I don't want to make you look bad because I don't want to have to listen to your mom get on to me for that. So we'll just go along at your 30% on this deal.
20 to 30.
Here's the thing. If the earth was flat, you should be able to see the Rocky Mountains from where we live right here.
No, you shouldn't.
Why?
Because just like at a hallway or something, if you're sitting ground level, you're going to be hard. It's going to be hard pressed for you to see the end of a long hallway.
So 15,000-foot mountain from here, we shouldn't be able to see if the earth was flat.
No, there's too much shit in the way, and there's haze.
Well, what are we going to see that's in the way? Where it's West Texas, there ain't shit to see.
Go ahead,
Zach.
For
that, all right, so you could also add a third dimension in that too. We'll use your why can't you see the Rocky Mountains from where you're at, West Texas? Again, pick Lubbock. Go to 45,000 feet. You'll see them.
You do.
100%.
Yeah.
You'll start seeing them around. I mean, this is going to sound bad, but you start seeing them around Cheyenne Bottoms, to be completely honest with you. Yeah.
Kansas.
So,
Central Kansas.
Yeah, well, kind of that western central Kansas, kind of just draw a north-south line right there. And again, it's all relative haze, visibility that day or anything like that. But if you were on the ground, you wouldn't see anything.
No.
But you go to 45,000 feet, you're still, and that's why it's the same thing. You could me and you stand next to each other and someone drives a car out, stands on the top of the car and keeps going until we can't see him anymore. We'll just use West Texas because that's a perfect example. And again, go to 45,000 feet. We could look straight at the same point me and you are still at. We could look straight down and see where we were standing, and then just shortly after, you'd see the car.
Okay.
So
go ahead.
Explain that again. So we got the guy at 40,000 feet. You and me are standing on the road at ground level. We'll see it at the same time.
Right. No, not at the same time. So like, let's say we had someone drive straight out. If me and you are at point A, right? And we ask, Jeff, drive. We'll talk to you on the phone. Drive until we can't see anymore on one of those huge flat country roads. And eventually he's going to disappear. Like we're going to watch him kind of go out in the horizon, right? And then at some point, you and me can look at each other, both agree that he's gone, right? We can't see him anymore. Now, if we went, we don't even have to pick 40,000 feet. We could probably pick 5, 6, 10,000 feet. We go there, you'll see him like he was just standing next to us.
Oh, right.
So now again, it takes that curvature out of it.
Right.
If that makes any sense, because, I don't know how round the earth is, like to the degree, but that's one of the reasons why I know, and like you're talking about CGI and this guy we used to fly with, he had an answer to everything, right? Now again, so he would go, well, prove it, and you could argue examples like that to him, and then he would come back and say, well, that's what this is, that's what this is. I go, well, prove it. He goes, well, prove your thought.
Right.
I go, so at some point you're going to argue, and you're just going to be split. Right.
Right. Neither side is going to be able to prove anything because, without taking a flat earther up there, they're never going to believe it.
Right.
What?
Right.
What?
And that's what ultimately. That's what I think. That's how I think that this all got started. I think that a guy was pissed off that he didn't get to go into space, and he's like, you know what? I'm just going to say the Earth is flat, and I'm going to get everybody all riled up. I'm going to have a lot of good arguing points, and then one day they're going to take me to space, and I'm going to be able to see it for myself.
So you really think the Earth is round? Then is what you're telling us?
I was at 20 to 30%.
So are you still there, or are you down a little bit?
What are you talking about, Jeff?
Your percentage is still 20 or 30%.
20 to 30%.
Okay, I'm going to try to change
That's
you.
80 to 70% that it's probably round.
Okay, we're going to try to get you in the 15 to 10% before this over. Okay, now explain.
But what I'm saying is that there's nobody's going to be able, short of going up there themselves. There's so much distrust with everything that the government does that nobody will ever believe it one way or the other. Just like as a traditional round earther, you guys.
Round earther.
Round earther. The old school.
So let me ask you this, and this might be out of left field.
Okay.
North and South Pole.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Right now, so North and South Pole. Now again, I'm sure, like I said, Lee Joe. Sorry, that's his name. I have no clue what his last name is. He was, out there.
That sounds like a flat earther name.
I'll be honest with you. If you're ever in the New Jersey area and you see this old piece of junk, red, beat up sports car with a bunch of shark fins, aviation crap, and instruments all on the outside, that's Lee Joe, and he's a 100%er.
Someone's gonna know this dude on this podcast. I promise you, I'm gonna get a message about this.
They've seen Lee Joe driving around New Jersey.
That's my crazy fucking neighbor. He's in the batshit crazy.
Well, no. To be honest, I mean, there's so many things, and again, to talk about the weather, the thing about him was, let's say there was we'll use the same big 6,000 foot storm over Tyler, Texas, or if I say, for private jet, the 99% of the time we're flying New York, LA. That's our route. He'll want to go fly into Canada to get around the weather. So, but back to North and South Pole. And again, I wish I had this cue, and I think I got it somewhere on my phone. But if you were to take pieces of lead and put them around a magnet and kind of twirl the magnet, there'd be a curvature to it. Not lead. I'm sorry. What is that? Those old Etch-a-Sketches things?
Yeah.
They would use like the magnetic fine graphite. Thank you.
There would be a curve to it. How?
So it wouldn't be in a straight line, right? So like if you put an electrical charge on a magnet, or that's electrical charge on a copper wire, it'd become magnetized. Farther you get away from it, less magnetism, closer you get in. And it's a perfect circle, just like the North and South Pole.
Translate, Jeff.
Repeat that again.
So, again, there's North Pole, there's the South Pole, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So, polar opposite. That's exactly so. And obviously, with airplanes, that's how we navigate is using, now it's GPS, but let's go, 1950s compass, right? It was the same thing. We could tell our location via a compass based on where we were via the North and South Pole, 360 degrees. We could tell our generic location, via map or anything, but we could take a compass and you would know, okay, I'm here, right? And and again, you North, South Pole. And then again, I think the flat earthers, their argument is that the government they're in control of the magnets. Like they put equipment out because true north isn't actually the North Pole.
Right. And it moves.
It's off. It's offset a bit. I think it's somewhere in the Hudson Bay, right?
Yeah, it's moved 150 miles, I think, in the last decade. I saw a deal on it not long ago. Does the South Pole move also, or does it stay right where it's at its regular place?
In my understanding, I think it's always there. We could get, but again, the South Pole is an ice wall.
Right. Exactly.
So we can't fly. And it's actually kind of funny because general aviation aircraft, we can't fly over Antarctica.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in a minute. We've got a guy from Antarctica going to be on our next podcast that lives there.
Oh, really?
And because I want to talk about some of this stuff with him too. But the North Pole does move around. Now, you said that these flat earthers think that the government's been moving the magnet. So I'm assuming they've been using compasses for how long? Fucking Galileo?
You could go back to Christopher.
Yeah.
But the U.S. government wasn't around.
Fuck no, that's the stupidest shit ever. These people think we had all this technology. People were still using a fucking outhouse in the 1900s. You think that if we could control the weather, we wouldn't have a place to shit indoors? No.
No, I know.
It's kind of a dumb deal. All right, my question is airplane flights. Mr. Flat Earther next to me, Mr. 25%er over here. or 30%.
Okay.
20 to 30.
Does not understand why you fly in an arc. Will you explain to
No,
him?
I never said that you don't fly in an arc. I never said that.
You said you think that they fly in an arc because the Earth's flat.
I never said anything about an arc. I said that if you're flying from point A to point B and you've got an emergency landing, you're going to go way up to fucking Alaska.
You don't understand why they did the flight. He's going to explain to us.
That's not an arc. I never said anything about flying in an arc. Ever.
Our last podcast, when you showed point A to point B, you said, why don't they just fly a straight line?
No.
And I said, they fly in an arc.
I never said that. Not once.
I think people in here can.
No.
Okay.
I said that if you're flying from point A to point B, and I can't remember what it was. If you're flying from point A to point B.
Australia to Los Angeles.
Maybe. I can't remember. You're going to go all the way into Alaska for an emergency landing.
Australia is not. Use Hong Kong and LA.
Okay.
Cathay Pacific, Delta, American, they do 900 flights to Hong Kong a day. You fly over Japan, around Alaska, and then down the West Coast. So the theory there is it's a shorter distance. Now, why?
Because the ball's smaller at the top?
Exactly.
I thought the Earth wasn't round, Andy.
Well, he asked why.
Well, okay, you answered your own question though.
Well,
about
Jeff,
the Earth being round.
I can see the argument.
Okay.
As you get to the top of the ball, you're not going around the full circumference. You're going around the tip.
Yeah.
Right. So, and again, I forget what. There's a reasoning, a flat Earth reasoning behind it.
It's a straight line. So basically, I'll send you a flat Earth map. How about that? I'll text it to you, and then it kind of makes more sense.
When I wake up in the morning and one of our news deals says a cruise ship fell off the side of the fucking Earth, then I will be like, Andy was right.
But they don't. They've got compasses, Jeff. They know how to navigate the water.
Well, but again, for a flat earther, and I'm just because it's. Again, 100% the Earth's round, right? So when it comes to the flat earther, like when you see the moon and the moon's a perfect circle, right? Or you take a telescope and on a perfect day, you can see, you get your star app out and you can go, okay, that's Mars, perfect circle, right? Like back in the old days, back in, your ancient history class, back when they were, the Earth's flat, right? Everyone agreed that the Earth is flat. Everything else is a globe, though.
No, that seems weird. That I can't get with that argument. That the Earth is flat, but everything else is a globe.
Well, I mean, so like if you look at the moon on a full moon, right? It's a perfect circle, right? Another planet's a perfect circle. So in theory, the flat Earth would be, it's either a globe or, curvature, it's a circle, or it's a one-dimensional plane that doesn't ever rotate in space.
Right.
How I got a question for Andy now, Mr. 25%er. Okay. How do you explain how the Earth or the moon rises on one side, east, and sets on the west?
Well, okay, so you got this disc, right? And everything is going this way. Sun, moon, opposite.
So so the Earth is spinning.
Huh?
The Earth is spinning?
I don't know if the Earth is spinning or if
then how's the moon going around then?
What do you mean? Something's got to be spinning, either the shit above us or the Earth.
Now, the other day you told me that you believed in what was it called, where the poles were going to reset themselves? What was that called?
Pole reversal.
Is it pole reversal, where everything's going to stop and it's what wiped the dinosaurs out? Remember
That's
that?
The theory, yeah.
Okay, it's pole reversal?
The theory is that when the poles switch from north to south, that everything comes to a halt. But you've got the
centrifugal force,
and everything keeps going that's been moving on Earth.
So do you believe that, or do you believe flat Earth?
What do you mean?
Which one do you believe? Because if you can't believe both.
Well, then why can't you? If the Earth is like this and it's spinning, the sun and moon are stationary.
So now we're spinning this way instead of tumbling like a ball.
If we're doing this, Jeff, and then you still got centrifugal force.
I would have loved to got to fly with your buddy that was a flat earther.
I don't understand
what conversations would have been.
I don't understand.
I don't either understand what you're thinking.
Let me see. Where's this guy at? All right.
So when
hold on,
explain.
he's looking at my map right now.
Okay.
My map. This is my map.
No. So I saw your map, and here's
Can you put our map up on this page over here?
I could try. Hang on just a second, Zach. I'm gonna try to get this map where Jeff can see it on the other TV. Or you can go ahead and talk, but I'm gonna be doing this.
I wanted you to explain when you fly from Tokyo to Los Angeles the route you take.
Over you go, so you can't, again, you fly over Alaska, like not over Alaska like the Aleutian Islands. Just south of them is, you kind of coast off around. Tokyo is the easier one, but you kind of coast off. You're just south of the Aleutian Islands, and then you parallel. You fly the complete west coast of the United States, or North America.
All right, I flew to New York City a couple times this year from Dallas.
Okay.
Both times I ended up over North Carolina and going up the coast, Washington D.C. Instead of flying in a straight line. Why do you do that arc instead of flying it in a direct straight route?
So that one is for New York airspace. There's 4 ways to enter it. From the south, you fly over, you kind of join it right around. The fix is Flat Rock, FAK. It's a VOR. I don't even think it's in service anymore. You fly over DC, fly over. It's for controlling traffic.
So that's the reason you do it. You don't fly over, like you don't fly over Nashville, Tennessee, and go in a straight line. You go back to the east and around, right?
Right. It's for track. And then another way they'll do Dallas to New York is you'll kind of go right around the Cleveland area and then hit Pennsylvania and go into the New York area.
So it's just flat traffic is the reason they send you in them bands than just going straight shot.
Yeah, exactly. It's to sequence and separate.
Okay.
Don't know if I'm going to be able to, because I'm already sharing my screen.
That's okay, Andy. I'm good.
I'm already sharing my screen.
I can look it up on my laptop.
Here, I'll just send it to you. Because I'm already sharing a screen with this TV to get Zach on here.
I'm good. I'll figure it out.
Well, here, I just sent it to you.
Where'd you send it at?
As a text message.
Oh, on my phone then.
On your telephone.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a fail on my part. I'm not gonna be able to do both. And I was preoccupied. So
this is the flat Earth map we're looking at.
That is the official map of the world.
Okay.
You got North Pole in the center, traditional North Pole.
Yeah.
Spherical North Pole.
It's a long ass way from your flat Earth if you flew from New York to India.
What do you mean?
I think so. This guy's example was they lied to you about where you're at. So,
God damn! I wish I'd have worked with that guy.
I'm telling you, man. Sometimes like yesterday was just brutally long. North Atlantic. Here's enough. To fly to. I just came back from Germany. I mean, we almost touched Greenland. Coming back.
Right.
Now, again, there's other reasons for it, but, wind's a little bit, it's not as strong typically that far north and anything like that. But
so you flew from Germany to, where'd you land at?
Bangor, Maine, fuel stopped, and then St. Louis.
And Greenland's the ice one, right? Greenland is full of ice?
Yeah, it's like a huge glacier on it.
That looks
That's that white one in the middle.
Right.
The white one in the middle.
And Germany's right here, Jeff.
Yeah, I understand. I know where Germany is, Andy.
And Maine is right here.
Where's Germany at? Point it to me. Okay, you got it. I'm just making sure.
And then Maine is right there.
Yes, I understand that.
I could see. They got awfully close to Greenland, he said. Flying in a straight path. Awfully close to Greenland.
See, this is what we're dealing with here. It was a straight path you took.
Awfully close to, if you almost saw Greenland, and I look at Maine and Germany on a map.
On the flat Earth map.
Right.
So that's what you're going. So that was a straight line, Andy. You're saying
pretty close to a straight
Jeff,
line.
Also, just to point out a thing about the flat Earth map, it's in a circle.
Yes.
Yep.
So that it's kind of, you're picking straws there.
Trust me, I know. I deal with this shit. I know exactly what you're talking about here. This is an honor student from Texas Tech we're dealing with here.
But and see, to be honest with you, and again, I never went to college. Not a day, yeah. Other than I dual enrolled while I was in high school. Never never took the critical thinking classes, anything. So, but that's what they teach you to do is think outside the box in college.
Right.
And
now I'm way outside the box.
Yeah, you've lost your fucking mind.
Well, I mean, again, too, to not, because again, flat earthers are, I mean,
go ahead and say it. They're fucking nuts.
I mean, you borderline, but back in the day, I mean, Steve Jobs was crazy too.
Yeah.
You know,
He believed the earth was round, though.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
Had to have.
Yes, he's smart.
I don't think we have any proof of that.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, hold on.
Satellites.
No, hold on a second, because I
Okay.
want to go back to your India comment. You said we're a long way away, so you'll go from India, and you're flying to New York, and that was your explanation.
Yes.
Okay, so pull up your text, Jeff, that I sent you, and we're gonna go through this together. Can you point out to India? Can you point India on your flat Earth?
Well, yeah, I'm not fucking stupid.
Point it out because I think you are.
Right over there.
Okay, that's India.
So you'll know now where India's at also. So that's
No,
what that was about.
I've got it right here on the traditional map.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to go. Now look right here, Jeff. Look right here.
I understand.
Pay attention to the class.
I'm watching.
All right, so you go up over here, all the way there. You touch the tip of Greenland.
He
and
didn't
then
say that when you come from India.
You use India. He didn't say anything about India. I'm talking to you, and you specifically.
I don't understand why we're going to Greenland.
That's the math. So, that's the path right here, Jeff. That's from official American airline. You go this way. Right, this is your path.
No, so Jeff, it's the Earth is at the equator. The Earth's the biggest, right?
Yes,
it's fat. We're fatter than we are. We're fatter in the middle than we are.
So when you fly from India to New York City, do you fly the same path over Europe? Is that how you do it?
I think if you could go on Google and type in Great Circle Distance, and you type in 2 airports, and it would show you a straight line distance, it will show you the shortest distance between point A, point B.
What would you call it?
It's a Great Circle Distance.
Okay, Jeff. Now look right here. This is from American Airlines, New York to India. You're not looking. You're not looking.
Okay.
This is what you spherical people do.
The spherical people. Okay.
You spherical people. So we're here in India.
Mm-hmm.
We go up. We make our peak. We hit Greenland, and we come down to JFK.
Did you hear what he said about miles?
Hold on a second, Jeff.
Okay.
You don't let people talk, and that's a big problem of yours.
Okay.
Okay. So now, here we are on our flat Earth.
Okay.
Are you paying attention? It
Yes.
doesn't seem like you are. I'm going to bring out my laser pointer in a minute. We're here in India.
Okay.
We're going to go here. We're going to touch the tip of Greenland, and we're going to land safely at JFK, taking the same path that this one takes in a straight line.
So I'm with you there. Okay, so
I'll send you the picture that I'm looking at.
No, I see it. I see the picture.
No, of the spherical flight path.
Oh, is that what you're looking at right now?
I'm looking at both. I'm comparing both. Hold on a second. I'll send this to you.
Good God Almighty,
Jeff, listen to me.
Okay, now that Andy's sending this to you, I want Andy to explain to me how these Elon Musks, this satellite going all around the world in circles.
Mm-hmm.
How is that?
That's the crazy. His internet satellite's the craziest thing you'll ever see. You'll think we're.
That's what we have right now. That's what we use at the lodge. It works excellent. We didn't have good satellite service or wireless service till he came in, and we got his internet, and we could do all this. We couldn't do this before that.
Thank God the Earth is round, and we can get good internet out.
There you go. Now you're like 15%, Andy. You've already shed 10% off.
No.
So So the map you just sent me. So I don't understand exactly how. If the Earth was flat, if you're flying from India, you would fly over the north part of Africa, across the Atlantic to JFK.
No, the DEL to JFK. Isn't that how do they pronounce that word?
That New Delhi.
Yeah, that's India, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And if you look at that path, it touches the bottom side of Greenland because it's basically that top arc. Then if you go to the flat Earth map and look at the second point right there, and you just draw a straight line, it's basically that same path.
You're flying 100, almost 100. Well, you're hitting a lot more of Greenland, but your map is just a perfect representation of you're on the North Pole looking straight down, which is why you never fly around the equator.
Well, do flat earthers even have an equator? I guess it's that red line right there. I don't know. I'm not asked a flat earther about the equator.
So what do flat earthers think on these low pressure systems that come out of Africa that produce hurricanes?
Oh God, I don't want to talk about Africa. That's some real crap right there. You want some storms,
right? But I want to know what flat earther thinks it makes those low pressure systems come all the way up to America. What keeps them going? What keeps the low pressure system from going opposite of most low pressure systems?
Weather.
But what's driving it?
What do you mean? What's driving it?
Well, there has to be something that pushes the front. Because right now,
I don't understand what that has to do with something being round and something being flat.
Hold on. Right now, it's the round Earth. If you get a low pressure system and a storm that comes out of Southern California, it treks all the way across the United States. It could come through West Texas. It could go to Kansas. It could go through and goes all the way across, leaves the United States and goes into Europe. Correct? Goes all the way across the Atlantic Ocean. Storm fronts do. But we get hurricanes that come off of the coast of Africa, and they move opposite of that. Then they catch in the United States, and then they turn and they go back to the east again. If the Earth was flat, what would make them do that? What's the steering mechanisms that makes them that could go east to west? All the fronts do. The high pressure systems, low pressure systems, all go from west to east.
Okay.
Well, if the flat Earth, what would make them do that? If it's not going this way, it's round. What do? They just fall off the end of the Earth and just be the end of them?
I've never said that the Earth wasn't spinning.
Well, no, but if it's not round, where do they go is what I'm saying.
What do you mean, where do they go?
Well, when they leave here, they leave the United States, they end up in Europe.
Okay.
And when
they should.
Okay, and they make a continuous spiral around our world.
Good.
If it's flat Earth, what would they do? What makes them do it? Where would they go?
Well, I mean, can they not just go like that?
Mm-hmm.
Right here. Pull up your flat Earth map.
I've seen my flat Earth map. I know what the flat Earth map is. It don't fucking matter. We could pull up a pizza box too. It's the same shit.
Pull up your flat Earth map, Jeff.
But
I don't understand that argument. Help him, Zach.
I want to add another one because again, I wish. God, if Lee Joe was on this podcast,
we've got to get Lee Joe on.
Y'all. Yeah, I don't talk. I ain't talking about that. But no, I'm telling you, he's wild. Like for example, he would have he had an answer to everything. It didn't make any sense, but he would say, well, it's because of this reason the U.S. government, pulls it over to make you seem or think that it's like this, but it's really not.
Well, So another thing is that they have manipulated our maps. That's proven. They have done. They have shrunk a lot of countries, and they've enlarged other countries, right? Like,
well, isn't that just about who wins the war, though?
Yes. So they're already lying to us about what countries are bigger and what countries are smaller.
England is one that they gripe about. They said the island of the UK, the island is not near as big as they make it look like on the map.
Well, that, and then like they've shrunk a lot of African countries. They've shrunk a lot of, I'll pull up the true map. So they're already lying to you about that. So I can see as a flat earther, which I'm definitely not, 20 to 30%. It's like, what else are they lying to us about?
He's going in the wrong direction right now.
So.
Well, think about, old school, we'll use surveys. So all surveys borderline, it's an artist going out there and saying, based on this representation of what you bought, be a point here, point here, point here. This is your property line. You could get a second surveyor to go out there, and it might be a centimeter off. But again, it's all based on that surveyor's judgment.
Right. So here's this.
Well.
So okay, it's not so much that they shrunk. Yeah, they did. They enlarged different parts. So they enlarged North America, Canada, and Russia. And it's not an accurate representation of.
What's that got to do with flat Earth, round Earth?
Because people think that if they've lied to us about something as minuscule as how big North America actually is, and this goes back to what he said, it's all who wins the war. What else are they going to lie to us about?
Do you think that the government can manipulate the weather? I used to be 100% against and I would say no.
What did Lee Joe say?
5 years ago, I would have said no, they couldn't do it. But I am starting to think that we have some kind of super weapons that can do some shit. The Hawaiian fires is one of them that could be an example. The new, is it Christchurch, New Zealand, the earthquake that they had there. There's been some different things that have happened I think the New World Order is evil, and I think they can do some weird shit. But I used to be 100% against this. But now I'm starting to wonder if there's not some ways they do manipulate the weather.
You're a fucking weirdo.
So you don't think that they can? So you don't think they can manipulate the weather?
No.
No, we know cloud seeding works.
They can't manipulate the weather on scale. Go ahead, Zach. I got to pee. Take it over.
I was going to say, think of the Rocky Mountains. Rocky Mountains manipulate weather.
Yes, they do.
So, theoretically, we could. You got China building islands out there. We could build them out. Now, again, poor example, but I've never been, but Hong Kong, China, all that smog will create its own, locally, but its own kind of weather phenomenon over there. Smog, stuff like that. But when you come, I'll tell you, so Las Vegas, Tonopah Test Range, Area 51, all stuff like that. You see, I've never seen a UFO that I can go, that's a UFO. But I've been flying along at night using a weather radar and gotten a perfect test hit back. So we can test it. And you get the colors of the rainbow. Red, or the gay flag, either or, whichever you want to use. It's just testing the colors, and it tests the radar test okay. But I was flying along to see if there's, just going back and forth, and I picked up a perfect 10-degree test hit flying North Nevada before. I don't know. I'm not saying something was jamming the radar and it was an older airplane. But it was perfect. We were flying to the west. It was perfectly moving with that one. If you could have point, it was moving with that point.
My deal with the weather is I think especially when you're up flying and you're at 40,000 feet and you look down, and you think there's no way in hell that we can create enough power to manipulate a low pressure system or anything, because I just don't think we have that kind of weaponry. But I think that we can do some things with lasers to cause some problems from outer space. I read a book one time, and I wish I could think of the name of the damn book it was. But it was an evil genius of some sort was trying to wipe out the world or something, and they had developed a tunnel system to put somewhere around Panama, like the canal, but they were going to build this big ass tunnel, and they were going to change the fucking Gulf Stream, the water, and they was going to change the whole. Yeah, they were going to change the whole ocean, the way the Gulf Stream moves, and it's you're thinking, that's not even feasible because couldn't afford to do that. But something like that could definitely change the weather patterns with the ocean temperatures and everything if you could change the way the water's vacuumed around the world. But
and jokes aside, back in flight school, the kind of running joke was, airplanes fly on money and magic. Yeah. So now again, that's not true. It seems like it because you get to speed. You're cruising. So, But yeah, I mean, it would take a just astronomical amount of energy to change the Gulf Stream. I'm not saying it's impossible. I mean, we have ice heaters now that open up holes so you can duck hunt in the wintertime. Takes a generator to run it, so it'd be the weather. I think there's stuff out there that could probably change.
See, I think
there's some
to a small degree. I don't think you're gonna
right.
create a vacuum.
Very locally.
Right. I don't think you're gonna create a hurricane, but the premises that the guy wrote on that book about the way they could change the ocean currents was scary to think about. But it would take trillions of dollars to do something like that. But if you went to a place like the Panama Canal area and you figured a way out to build this huge deal where it could suck that water back through and stick it in with what's it called on the California side? It's not a Gulf Stream. What is that called?
Oh crap!
Whatever it is, it makes the water go up from South America all the way to Alaska. If you figured a way to manipulate that and stick the Atlantic water and you got it going through there, that would fuck up the whole ecosystem of the world. There's no doubt about that. I don't think we can do anything in that big, but there is ways we have manipulated weather. We do cloud seeding in West Texas. By God, we need to do it now. We need some rain.
Well, they do that in Dubai, don't they make it like rain like once a week or something in Dubai?
Man, you snow ski in a mall in Dubai.
right.
Yeah. Dubai's fantasy land.
You've been there, I guess.
I've never been. I was real close about 2 weeks ago, flying north, but no, we'll get some trip. You'll just see pictures of it. You have the island palms. Go skydive over is the big thing. So, but yeah, they come back and they spend. How was Dubai? It's like, well, I spent $3,000. It's like, what you got? I got a pack of Tic Tacs and some gum. So,
where's the most? Where's this? Where have you ever been landed anywhere that you were kind of nervous?
Yeah, I've flown over places. I've been like this. We flew from Tanzania, how they pronounce it over there. We flew from there to Greece and then up to Germany. I was a little nervous over there because it's like, we were flying through places that hate Americans, But and then same thing. But now with that being said, we have security protocols. Depending if we land somewhere that isn't necessarily, let's call it a level 3 threat. I mean, we're escorted by police, and you're put behind a. I mean, when in Tanzania, it's okay, But we were in a compound, for lack of better terms, for 10 days while we were there.
Where do you stay at? Like a Four Seasons everywhere you go, or some of them shithole countries don't have much to stay at.
No, but it's usually like excuse me, especially in Africa, with the European rule. I mean, within the last 100 years leaving there, you'll find a European hotel where it's just like there ain't shit, and then all of a sudden, boom! I mean, it's a palace,
So I would be scared that the people that are supposed to be protecting me have been bought off. That's where my mind would go.
You can research events of that. I mean, like when I was going through school on the Gulf Stream, one of the comments were, we had a guy who was teaching it, who was ex-Marine. He flew contract over there, so he doing, flying to friends, right? And he would say, when you go to Africa, this is what you do. You don't trust anyone. Police can get bought off and everything like that. Now, I'm not saying it wasn't bad. Right. It wasn't terrible. To be honest with you, I really don't like a lot of the Caribbean islands.
Really?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them that, like Jamaica, for example. And I'm not – Jamaica's not the safest place.
No, fuck no.
No, so even there, I mean, I would take Oakland, California sometimes over Jamaica. Oakland, California, another perfect example.
Well, I mean, and you're coming in a flashy manner, so like they obviously know that you have means. So if there's somebody that they're going to try to roll and rob, why not start there?
No, it's the same thing. Actually last night I landed, got back into the country yesterday. I drive my airport car is an old piece of junk 2003 Dodge Ram, right? Also farm truck, nothing in it. It got broke into at the private FBO.
My goodness.
Well, it's kind of one of the things I laugh about it because I was just thinking, I was like, those guys hold up and they go, you know what? Mercedes, nice GMC. We're picking.
They're hiding it in the Dodge. That's where it's at.
Yeah. So it's kind of one of the things I was so tired yesterday. I was going to ride home with the windows down anyway, so they just made it a bit easier.
So they busted the windows out and all sorts of shit, huh?
No, I mean they busted a window out and stole an iPhone charger.
Oh my goodness.
That's all I had in there. So
and they left the Mercedes alone.
They didn't touch it.
That's crazy.
They didn't touch the Mercedes, the GMC, and it was funny because there's a little security guy there. He's talking to me. He's like, "Yeah, I saw these guys pull up," and I go, "You didn't,
Did you get
you didn't want to say, hey, what y'all doing?"
Right.
So you didn't say shit to them?
No, he did. He's the one that called the police, but it was kind of one of those things where it's like, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. We're in Memphis, Tennessee, at a private FBO. Some of the richest people in the world that I've ever flown, you don't know it.
Oh.
I mean, you have your Cardi B's, you have your rappers, you have your God, what are they called? Influencers. That thing, the richest people in the world, you have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have a conversation just like this. You would have no clue.
The Cardi B's, have you flown people like that?
I got a good story. We flew one of them. So she would eat. So her catering was, I'm not making this up. I'm not trying to come off as racist or whatever. I'm not bullshitting. Her catering was Kentucky Fried Chicken, right? For her and her crew, right? They would eat a piece of chicken, throw the bone on the ground. Eat another piece, throw the bone on the ground. We charged her like $5,000 to clean the airplane.
On a private jet, she's throwing the fucking chicken wings on the floor. What the fuck is wrong with people?
She paid for this, by God. I'm going to treat this like I want to.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Drive it.
No, I mean, it's one of those things where you look at them and you go like, what? Like what? There's something off in their head, So
yeah, that's disrespectful. But then when they were okay with just paying the five G's for the cleaning bill.
To be honest with you, I don't even. It probably didn't even register on her radar.
Right.
And then on the complete opposite side, these are you got two stories for everything. The other one was I've seen $10,000 catering order, and just for let's just say a 45-minute flight, LA to Vegas. Typically you'll get some rollers on that thing, right? They didn't even touch it. They didn't even, when we landed, flight attendant goes back, hey, do you want any of this? They go, nah, we're good.
Whoa.
And they go on their way.
We're taking lobster home tonight.
Yeah, exactly. So you work for you work for like a charter company, basically is what it is.
Yeah. Long story short, yeah, it's, we fly, we're a charter company, but we typically pick up overflow flights. Wow. And that's what I do. We do, we'll use NetJets, for example. They have big airplanes. I'm not saying they don't, but the majority of NetJets is kind of mid-range, continental, U.S., United States. They're not crossing oceans. That's what typically kind of what I'm there for. Now back to, because I'm curious. I wish I had Lee Joe's answer. With the sun, we're going to flat Earth, right? How come the sun doesn't set in the North Pole in the summertime, but in the wintertime it's all dark?
Hang on a second.
It's a good question for
that is a very good question.
Go ahead, Andy. Are you like 18% now? Or are you still 20 to 30?
What am I looking at? Flat Earth, sun, moon path, right?
Yes, with sun, moon. I'm not worried about the moon. It'll come up in its own little, but the sun's fairly,
moves.
Right.
I am going to say that I don't know. How about that? Unless there's like a tilt. Unless you've got your thing.
Why are we tilting if it's flat?
What do you mean?
Why are we tilting if it's flat?
You can still have it's like think of it as a sloppy pizza, Jeff.
Yeah.
Just when they're flipping it around and it's kind of got this little rotation in it.
Right, I'm with you though, but then that wouldn't, because the North Pole's in the middle.
Right.
So
and it's dark.
Right,
and it's dark.
It's dark and it's completely dark in the winter.
Maybe that's when it's tilted this other way. I don't know.
What do Lee have to say about that?
Like I said, I have been here. I'm gonna let you know a little secret. I have been pushed into this corner to where I have to defend a lot of these things. I've not done a lot of research. And so that's definitely one of those things where I'm going to say I don't know. But I'm sure that if you get an experienced flat earther on here, they've got an answer.
Experienced flat earther.
Oh, I guarantee.
Lee Joe has an answer.
Like I said, I found the little Q&A. So what we talked about earlier. So to go from Cape Town, pardon the grammar, to go from Cape Town to Australia, you have to go through the Middle East because it's too far. According to Flat Earth, likewise, Santiago, Chile to Australia is too far, so you have to go over Los Angeles, Anchorage, and fuel stop, and it's why Emirates is fake. Now, so again, it's kind of one of those things where they have an answer for everything. I mean, you have someone that's crazy, they're going to come up with something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I can't come up with any. That's a good, unless we're not spinning like a disc and there is a little bit of wobble to the earth. And during the wintertime, it just catches it when it's wobbled away from the sun. I don't know. But you're right though. But because if it's flat, it would be the same no matter if there's wobble or not, right? Wouldn't it be?
Well, again, you could. So, for example, let's use the same. You just perfectly described the equator.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't change.
Right.
Right. So you have the Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, and there's kind of you have your trade winds, your equator. And there, it's really not affected by the Earth's tilt.
Right.
You get closer to the poles, either side, it is. Less daylight, more daylight, depending on what season you're in.
The internet it's skewed. The internet is very skewed towards spherical earthers, towards traditional earthers. So I'm having a hard time finding anything. So here I'm going to type in, how do flat earthers explain the equinox? We investigate.
Now, when you find your answer, just for sake of you being a flat earther, find flaws in their argument.
Right. That's very easy to find. There are a lot there's a lot of articles written finding the flaws in it. The sun is really, really small. I'm gonna have to read through a little bit of this. Let me see if I can kind of try to find something that's close to an answer. Just skimming here. That never works. Okay, the sun is really, really small. In most popular flat Earth maps, the North Pole sits roughly at the center of the planetary disk, while Antarctica forms a giant ice wall. Along the planet's circumference, the equator forms a ring halfway between the two. Many flat earthers agree that the sun perfectly circles the ring of the equator on the equinox. The equator is a red line on a flat earth map. However, to account for the equal hours of daylight and nighttime, the model makes a few tweaks to how the sun itself looks and behaves. While you might envision the sun as an enormous ball of exploding gas located 93 million miles away, a flat earther would see it as a teeny tiny spotlight hovering just over the earth. How teeny and how close, according to early flat earth thinker Samuel Briley Robotham, who published the influential Zedic Astronomy, Earth Not a Globe, in 1881. The sun is only about 32 miles in diameter and hovers anywhere from 700 to 400 miles above Earth, depending on the month. Many flat earthers now believe the sun sits about 3,000 miles over the Earth. but Rowbotham's general idea remains popular in the community. Here's how members of Flat Earth Society describe the idea on their official wiki page. The sun moves in a circle around the North Pole. When it is over your head, it is day. When it's not, it's night. That's very scientific. The light of the sun is confidento, a limited area, and it acts like a spotlight upon the Earth. The diameter of the sun circle governs the season. According to one popular theory, the sun circles closest to the North Pole in June. Then the next 6 months spirals slowly outward toward the ice wall at the edge of the world. In December, the sun reverses its course and spirals back inward. During the during the spring-autumn equinoxes, the sun circles in a perfect loop around the equator. So basically, what I gathered out of that is the sun will expand and contract according to the season. So gets closer to the equator, during whenever, and then it goes back that way.
In order for that to work, for that theory to work, you would have to say that the Earth is the center of the solar system. Because the sun moves relative to the Earth then.
Right. Okay, so it says, is this possible? I don't know if this is a pro or anti-flat Earth article, but I'm going to assume it's probably anti. This explanation has its problems. For starters, a sun circling 3,000 miles above a flat Earth would never actually set, even at the most southern latitudes. YouTuber Wolfie6020, a globe Earth proponent, demonstrates this by building a scale model of a flat Earth style sun as it would be seen from Sydney on an equinox, vernal equinox. As shown in his video, the sun, actually a drone carrying a ping pong ball, never dips below the horizon even at its furthest point. Moreover, during an equinox, the sun appears to rise due east and set due west everywhere on Earth except at the poles. For this to hold true on a flat Earth, where some cities are physically many times further away from the sun than others, the sunlight would have to bend at hundreds of different angles simultaneously. That's the only way it could appear as if it was always coming from the east. YouTube user Flat Out, another prolific globe Earth proponent, demonstrated the impossibility of this explanation. So far, no flat Earth model has been able to resolve these problems, but that doesn't stop the community from trying, or in some cases not trying, like many conspiracy theories. It's uncertainty that makes flat Earth theory a mystery worth observing over its proponents. So anyway, that's their theory, and according to globe earther proponents, not possible. They've done their own research. So there's that 80% coming out of me, Jeff. There's it.
I was good. Has that moved your?
I'm at a solid 23 right now.
You're solid 23%. The Earth is flat.
That's my top end.
Or flat, or which you're 23% is flat and 77 is round.
Yeah.
How do you explain?
So I've come down 7% in this podcast.
So if the Earth is flat,
at my top end.
Okay. Do you believe that there's a firmament around it that we can't puncture?
Well, if it was flat, you have to have a firmament.
Okay.
Firmament.
So if it's flat, then explain the satellites.
Oh, that's what I was going to look up.
Yeah. I would like to know how the flat earthers think satellites stay in orbit. What pushes them in orbit? Because otherwise they would fall because they don't have fuel that'll last forever.
Right.
So, explain that to me. Also explain to me the International Space Station.
Mm-hmm.
India put an unmanned capsule on the moon yesterday. Please explain that.
That's what they tell you.
Okay, so you don't believe any of that?
What?
You don't believe in the satellites are up there? How does our internet work here without...
Here's a good question. How does internet work, period, Jeff?
Well, that is a damn good question. I don't understand that. That's way above my pay grade.
So when you figure that one out, I'll figure my answer out. Tell me exactly how internet works.
Tell me how
a fax machine works. We don't even use fax machines anymore, and I can't tell you how they work.
How's an MRI work?
Exactly. So shit just works on its own accord.
But I would.
Hey, money
It is
magic,
money,
just like airplanes
money
flying.
magic is exactly what it is. Tell me how I can get a piece of paper here and I can send it to Zach halfway across the United States, and he'll have that piece of paper in his hand in 90 seconds. I don't know how it fucking works, Jeff.
So, Zach, what's your thoughts on the satellites? They're in orbit. If the Earth's flat, why would they be in orbit?
Okay.
See, that's one, like the sun. You know, the flat earthers, they can kind of, you know, raid their parade flag around until you get to sun, other planets, satellites. I mean, then it gets they're you know, I mean, other than it just orbiting around the Earth, there's no explanation unless they're sitting up there. Some guys just holding them up like a giant or something. I think Lee Joe's thing was there's giants out there.
Oh, Lee's losing his credibility real fast.
Now,
I think that the Earth was on pillars, like 7 pillars, and that's what had the gravity. And then there's the spotlight was one of them. It was like a giant held the spotlight, and that was God. He kind of moved the thing around.
So
this says that, like I said, it is easy to find something debunking it. I can't find anything that says that.
Your buddy Lee.
This says that flat earthers say satellites do not exist. So
I'd sure like to see that Starlink train goes by every night now. I'd like to have them explain that. So what does your buddy Lee, big flat Earth guy, how come he never thought about flying to the end of this Earth? What kept you from flying to the edge?
He's busy. That's the big thing you got to. I mean, this guy is a freaking pilot. I mean, and he flies some of the richest people around in the world. And we always told him, like, dude, you better keep that pretty quiet. It's like when you're interviewing for a job, you might want to just go rent a car and don't, for the love of God, don't drive yours up there. But yeah, I mean, dude, other than, giants, the Earth's on these pedestals, the whole thing. And it's like, and he really believes it. Yeah.
I'm going to look him up on Instagram.
I'm trying to find anything about satellites and flat Earth, because like I said, that's beyond my 77%.
Here's Lee Joe's comment. There's no space. There are no satellites. The GPS is all BS. The info, I'm trying to think what it means by info. It's coming from HF, high frequency radio, low RAN, that's old school, microwaves, and VHF triangulations for GPS, triangulations. Right. So there's no GPS satellites or anything
Nothing like that. Everything up there is fake. The TV that I watched for years, that's all satellite radio. That's all fake.
Is Lee on Instagram?
I doubt it. I'm telling you, this dude's nuts.
That's why I'm trying to look him up.
I could try to find out. Like I said, last known position he was in was he was working for a company in Los Angeles.
That's a good place to be if you're going to be fucking nut job.
Yeah. I wish I guarantee I could send y'all a picture of his car if I had one, but I made it.
So it acts like they do. Flat earthers invented many explanations about the visibility of satellites by studying the satellite's orbital parameters and how they can be used to predict the visibility. We know flat earthers' claims are just nonsense. So, but I can't find what their argument is. I can find for everybody debunking it, but I can't find any sort of what a flat earther thinks in accordance to the satellite.
The flat Earth map that you showed, Andy, it looks like it's a long freaking way from Los Angeles to anywhere.
Is it a short distance from Los Angeles to anywhere?
Well, but on your flat Earth map, it looks like if you're going to go to Tokyo and stuff, it's a long way to even fly. You shouldn't even go from. Let me go to your map again.
I was going to say the official from Los Angeles to Tokyo, you're going to coast off somewhere in between, somewhere around Vancouver. And then you're going to fly up to around the Aleutian Islands and then come back down that eastern side of Russia to get to Tokyo.
On Andy's map, it looks like you'd just be better off to go straight from LA and fly right over the North Pole and go right into.
Okay, hold on. I've got a TikTok. This is where we get all of, but I can't find anything else. I've searched Yahoo, I've searched all this shit. Like TikTok's the only place where I can find any sort, because I just want to hear what their argument is.
NASA has hundreds of these satellite balloons up in the air right now. I never knew these NASA satellites existed before flat Earth. Have you seen them? Google and many other companies have fleets of these balloons as well. Look up Project Loon. The fact that NASA and its subsidiaries hardly discuss these so-called satellites was a huge proof for me, because it evinces a deliberate effort to conceal the fact that space satellites don't exist. The whitewash of these balloon satellites is evidence that they are lying about space satellites. These high-altitude balloons can carry 8,000 pounds and include telescopes, radar equipment, communications equipment, internet, etc. Here's one that almost killed some people.
So now satellites are completely fake.
That's what this guy says. That's the official argument.
So I guess when we watch TV from DishNet, Dish has just got a bunch of balloons up in there.
I guess so, according to them.
And
well, it's kind of one of those things. Like, no matter what, like that satellites or balloons. I mean, we big news. What was it? Springtime Chinese spy balloons, right? Coming across the United States. Yes. But I mean, they're just you got to have, because, like, for example, y'all use the example of this Starlink. Y'all didn't have internet. Now you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to figure out some sort of explanation for, okay, why this? Like, we can go, well, it's easy. We watched Elon Musk on, Discovery Channel. He launched a satellite up there. I mean, we saw it. We saw it happen. These guys have never seen a, balloon get launched by the federal government and then these Starlinks orbit in the sky kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's pretty much a common deal you can see now is a Starlink, the train.
Yeah. And we watched them get launched.
Yep.
Bunch of
you can pull it up on YouTube.
Balloons up there.
23%, or what are you thinking? I mean, so explain to me what
the satellites accounted into the 23%.
So that didn't drop you down any.
No. That's still.
So the only way you're going to believe is if Richard Branson or if Elon Musk puts you on one of those ships and shoots your ass up in orbit.
Yeah, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to leave Earth. I just want to stay here. I want to stay on the ground. I barely like flying. I'm not going any higher than a commercial jet.
All right, we'll switch it up a little bit now because me and Andy have both talked about this. What about the moon landing? Do you think that we put people on the moon in the 60s? Or ever? Do you think we've ever been to the moon?
I got to go with yes. But it's a lot softer of a yes than I could be pointed either way, right? Like, I'm not a huge conspiracy theorist, but it's one of those things where I've seen that stuff capable of doing it. I mean, you could launch an SR-71, the Blackbird. I bet you that thing could, you put it on a trajectory towards the moon, it's going. It's going a direction. It's getting far. Now, getting back is going to be your problem, but
are they still using the SR-71, or did they finally retire it completely?
I don't know if it's officially retired yet. I know the U-2s are still out there. Those are one of the things I actually kind of look for, because you'll be cruising along. It's usually over, the Atlantic or the Pacific, and you look up, you'll see them. It's rare, but they're up there.
How high are they flying? 100,000 feet?
I don't think it's 100. I think their normal is and again, it's all class. I think their normals are in the 80s.
That's hard to believe we got something that can fly that fast, and that it's hard to believe that one of them got shot down is what's amazing.
Well, they're slow. That's their biggest. When you look at a U-2 like on Google, it's a huge glider with a jet engine. It's relatively slow. So you could, same thing with it. You could shoot a rocket. Eventually, you just keep shooting it, thinking, okay, that one was behind it. You move it. They're not quick. That's their biggest downfall.
Was the SR-71 though? It's pretty fast, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they're in the high Mach 3, Mach 4. 3-4 times the speed of sound. The thing's booking it.
I saw a radio deal with one of them was doing. He was calling in call signs, and it was like the L.A. Center.
Oh, the airspeed.
Yeah,
airspeed. That's the funniest video.
And what is because that guy's like, I've got you down at Mach 2.5. Yes, I am. Who is this?
Well, it was like a little 172 pilot checked in first. I want a ground speed readout, and 90 knots, whatever it was. And you get an airline pilot who thinks he's something, and 400. Then you get F-18 1,000. SR-71 goes, he goes, well, 2.5, Mach 2.5. He goes, well, I got it closer to 3, and then the guy came back from LA. He's like, well, your equipment's better than
mine. So do you the sad thing is in our country is conspiracy theories go on and on. We find out more and more of them are true. Like from 9/11, JFK, Big Mike, whatever it is, we're starting to find out more and more of that shit is probably exactly what it comes back. But I don't think the Flat Earth group has got a chance.
Buzz Aldrin said that they didn't go to the moon.
The moon one, I'm not 100% sold that we did go to the moon. I think
it was propaganda. I think that we were in a space race, and that was something that we needed to win. So
we had to win a war.
Right. So it's, what can we do?
Yeah,
let's figure out how to do this. Plus, like, if you look at some of the shit from the International Space Station, the ladies, they fucking put a lot of shit hairspray in their hair to make it stick straight up to make it look like they don't have any atmosphere around them.
So you don't think we've been to we don't have an International Space Station?
Hold on. But when you look at people that are in 0 Gs because that's what they do on planes, right? They can get 0 gravity.
Yeah.
When you look at women with long hair, their hair's not standing up like the Bride of Frankenstein. It's kind of free flowing like it would in water. So it's not, and then this lady does like a flip and the hair like never moves, like it's still sticking just, straight up. So there's obviously a little bit of trickery that they try to do.
I'm not sold that we went to the moon for sure. I'm about a 20%er on that deal. I want to think, because I grew up in America at the patriotic time, that our country wasn't lying to us. Well, as I get older, I realize they've lied to us from day one. Do you think that there's an International Space Station? I do believe that.
I don't know.
What do you think?
Probably
100%.
Probably is.
I was gonna say you can see the thing.
When is Apple going to get us an accurate representation of our globe on my iPhone? That's what I need to know.
So because it's not flat, so you think it's wrong. So do you? I think that we've been to the moon. That I'm 80% that we've been to the moon. But there's so many different things. And what's really interesting, I was watching a James Bond movie the other day. Diamonds Are Forever. One of them. I'm a big Bond guy, but I just can't remember the name. Which one?
Yeah.
And they go to Las Vegas, and they go to see Wizard White or something has this big casino. But anyways, they go to this private deal, and this guy's a defense contractor, and Bond breaks out and goes through this warehouse, and guess what they're doing? They're filming moon stuff there.
Oh, right.
And I just thought, that's really weird. And this film was made in the 60s, and they're filming these guys on the moon, and they've got these moon rovers and stuff that they're driving and shit. And I was like,
well, if you watch The Shining, Stanley Kubrick did it, and supposedly he's the one that directed the moon landing. And if you watch The Shining, there are a bunch of like little bitty Easter eggs in there of him kind of rubbing his, poking you in the eye that, hey, the moon landing was fake.
Well, what about the Challenger, the space shuttles? Do you not think they went to space? Where do you think they just flew around for 4 or 5 days before they landed?
I thought the Challenger was the one that exploded.
Well, it did, but it also landed a couple of times also. But all of those space shuttle missions, they fly up to space. Well, where do they go for 4 or 5 days? And then we watched them on TV coming in. We watched them land. I've seen them, and when I grew up in Wichita Falls, I used to land there all the time when they was flying them back to Florida, and you'd see them propped up on a 747. But where do you think those space shuttles went to?
Mm-hmm.
So we just shot them off the deal. We watched them take off. We flew off into space, and then they cruised around the Pacific for 4 days and then landed.
Like you watched them for 4 days? You didn't take your eyes off of them?
No.
Where do I go for 4 days? When you were in New York, I didn't see you.
Where in the fuck did this space shuttle go to if it wasn't in space?
I don't know. But, I mean, just because we didn't see it doesn't mean anything in my mind. There's a lot of things I don't see right now that are going on.
But we watched it coming in on cameras as it come in from space.
Okay.
So what do you think? For 4 days they just flew around up in the air with those big engines? I don't think so.
I don't know.
I mean, it wouldn't have the fuel.
No, not at all. I've been to. Have you been to what's it called at Boca Chica? Where Musk place called SpaceX? Have you been
SpaceX?
Have you been to SpaceX?
No, I've never been. I'm in LA all the time. It's right up I think it's right up the road, but
no, it's in Texas. It's in Texas.
Oh, is it?
It's at South Padre Island across the jetties at a place called Boca Chica. I've been there, and it's interesting. You drive down the farm to market road, and there's a fucking rocket ship sitting there, and then there's another rocket ship, and it's another rocket ship. Well, Elon Musk is one of the smartest men in the world, I think. I think if the earth was flat, he wouldn't be fucking doing the shit he's doing.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Elon Musk that's funny, I've never flown him, never met him, but he's got one of the biggest followings I've ever seen in my life. I remember once we landed in New York, and he pulled up in his jet right next to us, got off, and I didn't even recognize the guy. Okay, whatever. And we went outside to eventually go to the hotel, and there's 200 people outside that guard gate waiting for Elon Musk to leave.
I saw the cage matches off. I don't think that's going to happen now. I'm bummed.
That would have been awesome.
I wish he'd whip Zuckerberg's ass.
Zuckerberg's actually, I guess he's been training.
If I was going to bet on anybody,
jiu-jitsu.
I would have bet on Zuckerberg if I was a betting man.
I think he's younger. How old is Elon? Is Elon in his 50s yet? Is he 50 yet?
He's got to be 40.
Did he knock up one of his employees' wife or some shit?
I don't know about that.
I think he did. I think he's kind of a little.
He's got like 15 kids.
I was going to say.
He's got a lot of kids because he's a big, very concerned that the earth is going to, the population is collapsing. He's 52. 52. And I don't even know if Zuckerberg is in his 40s yet.
Yeah, he's got to be in his 40s, but not much older.
39.
He's got it.
So he'll be 40.
Yeah, Facebook's been around for too long.
Yeah, he's 39.
He don't have any kids, does he?
Yeah, Zuckerberg does. Yep, I'm pretty sure. Just a Harvard dropout. That's all he is.
Actually, his I think it's right. His wife, his ex-wife, really nice. Actually,
Zuckerberg. You flew her, or you just met her somewhere?
Her. I flew her. She's really nice lady. I like her a lot.
He has 3 kids.
The Chinese lady and him got a divorce?
Was she Chinese?
I thought, or
that might be, I think that's his new wife.
Oriental or whatever word I'm not allowed to say. I'm trying to be nice here. I don't know what word I can use.
Elon has 10 kids.
God almighty.
Yeah.
Well, anybody do that to themselves?
He can afford it.
And their money deal, a lot of energy. Gosh almighty. Well, imagine what he'd get done if he didn't have all them kids.
Yeah, we would have we'd have really good internet here. We wouldn't even need internet. It'd be so good. Would you want a guy like Elon being president? Which I don't know if he was born in South Africa, so I guess he
wouldn't be the first one that wasn't born here, probably.
Maybe, but I don't know.
I mean, like all the things going on with Trump right now. I just remember with Trump, it just seemed like my paychecks went more.
Right. It's not even close.
I mean, it wasn't even. And then now it's like, I mean, anything you can't even go buy a used truck is $20,000.
Yep.
The worst president in the history of the United States we are dealing with right now. And the sad thing is, he's not even president. He ain't running shit. This Obama's 3rd term. I just read today. I just saw a deal today. They've welded the fucking gates open on the wall in Arizona. The federal government has welded the gates open to open border. What the fuck are they trying? I mean, there is a concerted effort to ruin our country, and they're doing a damn good job of it.
Well, did you see in Kansas? I guess the police, Marion, I think it is. They raided the house of a 98-year-old lady who owned a newspaper in Little Marion, and evidently she had written some articles that were against the mayor, against the chief of police, and they raided her house. Looking for what? I don't know. But anyway, she ended up dying the next day from fucking 98, like all this stress shit. But it was an attempt to intimidate her. It was an attempt to silence her, from what I gathered this morning whenever I was looking at it. But
And you would think in a small town Kansas you wouldn't have to deal with that.
But she had security in her living room, and it shows them like bust in, and here she comes in her walker, and like they're pulling laptops and they're pulling discs and computers and
just crazy.
But I mean, that's, you got the freedom of the press, which is supposed to be protected, and then Marion, Kansas, they don't really give a shit. They came in and killed the old lady, basically.
I mean, you got Twitter. Elon had to go buy Twitter to open it up.
I saw this morning that Trump's numbers for the Republican nomination have just grown and grown and grown. He's like at 67% now. It's not even close.
Every time they indict him, they go, hey.
Yeah, they get higher and higher.
And I saw a CNN guy said, we legitimately are concerned that Trump is really going to win this election. We've got to do something. You're the media. Your job is not to be concerned about who's going to win. It's to report the fucking news. But people in this country, you can go to any neighborhood anywhere. I don't give a shit if you go to the wealthiest or the poorest. Those people want Donald Trump back. I saw a sign in the middle of western Kansas, a big, like a store that would have a big lit up sign that someone paid $10,000 for that said, God bless Donald Trump. There ain't ever been a president in our country other than maybe John F. Kennedy that had the love of the people that Donald Trump does. People want to take care of our own. And that's what he does. I don't trust Republicans and I don't trust Democrats. I wouldn't piss on Mitch McConnell if he was on fire, nor would I Chuck Schumer. I mean, I don't trust either one of them. But for some reason, this rich guy from New York that's a real estate mogul, that's a billionaire, I trust him. And I think he's got my best interest at heart. And, like you said, it don't take a poor person to go to the grocery store long to see that you're not getting your bang for your buck you used to get.
No, I mean, like in Africa, I was in Africa for 10 days. I had lobster probably 4 or 5 times. Steak, lunch and dinner. 10 days hotel bill for whatever beer they had over there. My when I left, it was $400.
Whoa,
total.
It's cheap.
Jeez,
yeah.
Can you believe it? 10 days, eating like a king.
10 days, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, eating like a king. It's not like cows are, it's just over here, freaking cow costs, God knows how much. Over there, it's like, that's a cow.
Right. Son of a bitch. Maybe that's where. Well, no, you can't go. Go there because now they're killing everybody.
The fake meat shit now. I saw a deal that in 2030, they named like 15 cities in America. They're going to ban eating beef. Fuck them. Who are they going to tell you what to fucking eat? What gets me is these fucking sheep that are going to go along with this. And this new mandate with the mask and stuff, that shit's coming. I saw another deal on it. And I can't believe anybody in the United States of America is going to go put a fucking mask on again. It just blows my mind.
It won't happen. There ain't no way.
Oh, there'll be some liberal fuckers that'll go into. There's a university.
Oh, 100%.
You've already said you'd put a mask back on, Jeff.
No, I said if the airlines made me wear a mask to fly and I had to fly, yes, I would. But I'm not wearing one anywhere else.
You just gotta stand, Jeff.
But if everybody if everybody on an airplane said, "Fuck it, I'm taking it off," they couldn't do nothing. I don't want to be on the no-fly zone though list. But
just charter.
Yeah.
Did y'all wear a mask on y'all's private jets?
No.
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 No. I knew that.
Cat's out of the bag.
It's like at a hunting lodge. We ain't wearing fucking masks around here. I had guys pull up that first year and they'd get masks and they'd get out with mask on. Then they'd look around and be like, nobody else is wearing a mask. Fuck no, we're not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
They'd kind of do that. Look around like, there's nobody else doing this.
I was going to say, I remember before I bought my place here in Mississippi, we used to travel to Kansas every year. And I mean, you'd go out there. I mean, you were free again. No mask, no nothing. You'd come to, because half my years, New York or LA.
Yeah.
And you just forget, like, okay, this is what life's, what's real.
Yeah. I saw a lady in Boston at a restaurant. She'd have a mask on. She'd pull her mask down, take a bite, put her mask on, chew, pick her mask up and take a bite. And I thought, I'm sitting 5 feet from you. I ain't wearing a fucking mask. I wish I could sneeze right now. That fucking cleared that whole place out. But people just bought into that shit. So the fucking liberals are going to buy into it again, but nobody else is.
Well, all we did was kill our natural immunities.
Yep.
Like, that's the only thing, is that it prevented just enough to where we got sick at everything.
And put a bunch of businesses out of business.
Yeah.
Tons and tons. You travel a lot. How many times in the United States, because I don't know about any or overseas, but in the United States, when you look at a restaurant, if you look on Google and you say, well, let's go eat somewhere in New York City, a lot of fucking places are closed now. And it's because of the COVID shit.
And to kind of, it's somewhat tangent off that, it's I have our normal crew hotel in LA, and there's a strip. Great. It's actually really good restaurants. Some of them change names, whatever. But we did a poll. Most pilots kind of bat the right side anyway. But we did a poll. We'd asked the restaurant owner, Trump or Biden. 100% of them said Trump. Yeah. That's who they voted for. And this is LA. This is their big stomping grounds. Everyone in LA believes that's a Republican, believes that the election was stolen.
Yeah.
If we had, I saw someone yesterday had a thing that said, we need a fair election. I'm all for that. I think every vote should count, but you should be an American citizen and you can vote one time. Get rid of mail-in ballots, make election day a national holiday. Everybody's off. Everybody can go vote. If you can pick the voice star in 3 minutes on TV from call-in shit, you ought to be able to fucking pick out who won our election pretty quick. And it shouldn't take all night. We shouldn't stop counting votes in the middle of the night. I mean, anybody with common sense knows things didn't equal up. The analytics alone show Biden didn't win the election. And I saw a poll yesterday. 71,000 votes is the difference between Joe Biden and Donald Trump being president.
Total
71,000 votes. If you took Georgia, Arizona, the 4 or 5 places that made the difference, it was 71,000 votes. And if you take election fraud out of that, it's election fraud.
Well, no, I mean, you can come up with 71,000 votes.
Well, yeah, it's pretty easy in the middle of the night when you fucking bring them in. That's what I'm saying. They cheat. They cheat. Everybody knows it. The foreign countries, they all know it. But you can't go anywhere in America and ask that question, Trump or Biden, and you can't get more than 70% of the people are going to say Donald Trump. And, I mean, you can go to neighborhoods, I'm sure, in L.A. where everybody's a Biden person just because they think they need to be a Democrat. I saw Jennifer Aniston come out against woke yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, she said being woke is not the way to go.
My girl.
Well, I mean, you go to Los Angeles is a great example of, I mean, just how they live. Is you would think they would finally go, you know what, we've had enough. I mean, they can't water their grass. And the amount of water or the amount of snowfall that the state of California got this year was ridiculous.
Went out in the ocean.
I mean, they did. Hey, gotta go.
They don't have enough fucking duck hunters, or people would be damming shit up and building some duck property there. Yeah, and I feel sorry.
They've got more duck hunters than most states.
I know that. I was being kidding about that, but I feel sorry for the duck hunters out there because they're draining all their wetlands and shit to save a smelt or some crap.
It's been on my bucket list. Whenever we overnight in San Francisco, you can see every duck on North American continent in San Francisco area. I mean, it's unbelievable. And same with turkey hunting. You go that Napa Valley, big wine country. They walk around like pets.
You can buy some. You can buy some property in San Francisco is going to be getting real fucking cheap, real fast because everybody's leaving. Even the liberal stores are leaving. And what's funny, I guess Gump's is the name of a big famous store in San Francisco. Been there 160 years. Their owner's coming out and he wants a meeting with Gavin Newsom and everybody else, and nobody gives two shits about the plight of all the businesses there. And I think, well, I bet you fucking gave money to Gavin Newsom and you did to the last mayor. Y'all just keep electing Democrats and then you wonder why everything's going to shit.
Jennifer Aniston said there's a whole generation of kids now who go back and watch episodes of Friends and find them offensive. I'm not a Friends like fucking aficionado, but the little bit that I've watched of Friends, I never saw anything offensive about it.
Do you think King of what's that show?
King of Queens?
King of Queens. Do you think that's offensive?
Well, no, but I'm not offended by anything.
Right.
But I could see, I mean, maybe he said something. I mean, they poke fun at gays and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just life.
Right.
But yeah, like Friends, big time show, big hit.
I never, like I said, my wife watches Friends late at night. I usually just go to sleep, but I've never seen anything that was like,
Seinfeld couldn't be on now.
You don't think so?
Fuck no, not with him banging all them chicks and shit.
Oh.
And demeaning women. and making fun of people they made fun of, an ugly baby and shit. No. And it was a good show. There's nothing wrong with it.
Well, he did say that. Well, not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
The gays.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. Of course not. No.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. I mean, Kramer didn't want to wear the fucking pin or whatever, the pink, before they come out with the rainbow shit. I think they had a pink deal, and he wouldn't want to wear it because he didn't want to be marked that way or whatever it was. But all them shows, you know, I don't even watch regular TV now. There's not a show on regular TV I watch. I did start my new Netflix series, the Righteous Gemstones is on again. Have you seen that? That is a fucked up deal with John Goodman plays a TV evangelist. Mm. It's funny. They make fun of preachers and the way they do. I love God, and I'm a Christian. I'm not a really good Christian all the time, but I am against these $1 million preachers. And they make fun of that on this show, and I like it because they do it.
Oh, those big, I was going to say, those mega churches, those things, man,
You're flying in on that Creflo Dollar or whatever his name is, and Joel Osteen and shit, and they're flying around $50 million jets. I think they're con artists. My preacher gets on to me all the time because he thinks they're doing a good job because they can reach so many people and save so many people. Well, with $50 million, you ought to be able to save a bunch of people.
I was going to say also too, I mean, you got to, you know, now that all the duck hunters aren't as pissed off anymore, but like the Duck Dynasty, you go back, you listen to Phil and all them. I mean, the only reason they did the show was if we can change one person's life, we did our job. Right. You know, and then, I mean, they got the biggest rap from kind of because you'd go to your spot, your WMA, it went from 3 trucks to 30.
I think Phil was good for duck hunting. I do. And I'm jealous of Phil. The big thing here in Mississippi, we don't have public. We do, obviously. I mean, we got the river, but it's the public land isn't. It used to be okay. We get the weather front. We get the weather. But I mean, you pull up now. And this is Mississippi Delta. I mean, it's Arkansas. Yeah. So it went from 3 to 30 to 50 to opening day. There was, I think, 60 trucks at Matthews Break 5 years ago. Yeah. You know, Phil was good. Phil was good for duck hunting. Like I said, I'm jealous of Phil. Who wouldn't be? If you're in the waterfowl business at all, the guy's made millions and millions of dollars. The guy's a straight up killer, hell of a hunter. Mm-hmm. But Phil got more kids involved in hunting and duck hunting and more men. And the people that get mad are the people that want their hunting holes. They don't want nobody else to hunt it. Well, you're hunting public water. That's part of the game. Unfortunately, I hate to tell you that. And I'm sure he did bring a lot of people that didn't know what the fuck they were doing, but it got people interested in hunting. And we need everything we can do to get more people into hunting. Whether it's Phil Robertson, if MC Hammer came out and started fucking duck hunting and got people into it, whoever it is, we need them.
Yeah.
Even Cardi B and her chicken wings.
He didn't say it was Cardi B, but he said it was one of them.
Allegedly. No, I mean, at some point, though, like that story, it's they don't know any better. That's the only explanation I can come up with.
My buddy that my buddy that was a pilot in the 70s, he flew the Beach Boys, and Brian Wilson, I think that's the one that passed away from all the drug use, right?
I don't know.
I think it was the one that passed away, and I think it was Brian Wilson is his name, the one that was Charlie Manson's buddy. Anyways, they were flying on a plane, and they were giving the stewardess all kinds of shit, and he'd had enough. And he walked back there, and he goes, "What the fuck's going on?" And they had a big old bunch of cocaine on a mirror, and they were snorting that shit. He fucking took that cocaine, and he threw it on the floor, and where it just spread out on the floor and stuff. And he said, "I ain't putting up with this shit." And he put her in a seat somewhere, and he landed in fucking El Paso. They were flying from Houston to L.A., and he had the fucking the FBI come meet the plane. Jeez. Took him off the fucking airplane. So I'm not putting up with this shit.
No, we recently, I was getting called while I was overseas. I was getting called. We had a big problem. We were doing a road trip. I don't know how to.
Getting a phone call?
There we go. Yeah. We were doing he was doing concert series. You fly here, stay a couple hours, concert's done, fly. And he was a big musician, and it was the same thing. He's just sitting there trying to obey the rules, going. And again, that's the problem with rich people is the rules apply to everyone else but themselves. Yeah. So, I mean, all they were doing was hotboxing this jet, and the pilot's like, look, I don't want to put it, for example, El Paso. I don't want to land in El Paso because I could get, I mean, especially with corporate flying, that they're paying $50,000 for a 2-hour flight, or, just stuff like that. I mean, it's big business now. So that's it. It's a real, it pisses me off, to be honest with you, because you should be able to, here's the law.
Nope, not with them.
Yeah, not with them. Law. Hey, they make the laws for us to follow.
Yeah, exactly. And like if they're hotboxing it in there, like is there a possibility that it could go into you and then you'd piss hot?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure it would be the same thing. I've heard stories before, because you got pilots are all personality, all different. You got some people that are okay with it, and I've heard a story before of these pilots said, yeah, no problem, no big deal. They hotboxed a jet so bad they were up there in smoke goggles and oxygen mask.
That's
trying to
fly.
Stupid
as shit.
That's just stupid. Yeah. I mean, because if you land, let's say the FAA is going to do their job that day and they're going to ramp check you, and that door opens.
Right.
Nothing's going to happen to the passengers. You are screwed.
Yeah.
So.
Pure disrespect.
Well, I mean, it's I don't know. It's a shitty deal all the way around. It really is. Because I can see the pilots, you want to smoke a joint or have a beer, like whatever. But like when it becomes like, I open this door and it looks like Cheech and Chong are coming out of here. Well, that's a totally different story. And now you're putting my life on the line. But the problem is, these rich assholes, there's shades to everything. So you might be like, yeah, have a joint or whatever. And like all of them are just passing them around like the Doobie Brothers. Well, that's not exactly what I meant. I meant like take a toke and put the motherfucker out.
Or just drink a fucking beer and wait till we land.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it's a 45-minute flight. Do what you want in 45 minutes. You can't wait. We're going from LA to Vegas.
Man, the LA to Vegas flights you'll get some interesting people.
Have you had the Mile High Club yet on your plane?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
100%. Look, yeah. Does it sway the plane at all, or is it pretty equal?
If it's a small jet, yeah. You'll look. So it's just under 100 feet long, 100-foot wing, and I don't know. I think most of the time the flight attendant comes up and is like, "Hey, don't go back there right now."
Does she have to stand back there, or does she stay up there with y'all?
No, it depends which airplane. There's some, the galleys are in the back. There's some, the galleys are in the front. So it just depends which, but we have one jet. It's a really nice airplane. It's like a full bedroom in the back. That thing, I don't want to know what stains are on that couch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, don't put a black light up here.
Oh God, no.
That's disgusting. But listen, they're paying all that money. I guess you want to go have a session, then have a session. I don't know.
Hey, yeah, no, I mean that's the thing. That's drugs. But
yeah,
that. I mean, one of the funniest stories about someone renting a private jet. This guy, it was not. I'm 100%. It was not Anderson Cooper, but it was his twin.
Right.
Okay? It was this guy's. I mean, we flew a private jet from New York to middle of Illinois, somewhere Springfield, maybe Illinois, and he bought a dog. And we flew him back to New York.
Bought it.
He bought a dog. He was there. He's like, I'll be 30 minutes. I'll be back. He bought like a $800, Labrador, one of those fancy non-shedding, hypoallergenic, and I think I asked later. It was like $40,000 for him to go pick up the dog.
What the hell? But that's just money, right? Like, it's not a big deal to them. It's like, I want a dog. I want a dog today. Let's go get it.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing, like y'all were talking about earlier with, friends of yours when you have that kind of money, it's nothing for them to wake up that day and go, I want to go to Cabo.
Right.
Call the pilot. Pilot flies them to Cabo.
Yeah. When you got a lot of money, it's not a big deal. Like, it's just, I'm going to make more money. The interest alone on my fortune will probably pay for this trip. So,
yeah, at least.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
All right, my man, we're gonna let you go here. We've been almost 2 hours here, and it's been a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
No,
I like to hear how the other
should.
side lives. It's not flying American in the back of the plane with having to wear a mask. So it's fun listening to.
You skew it all? You still about 23%?
I'm still holding strong about 20%. So listen, you dropped me down 10%. So I mean, let's not get greedy here. I was up 20 to 30, and now I'm in the low 20s on my high end. So
when I listen to the guy from Antarctica and y'all's podcast, I'm gonna see what he has to say about this ice ball.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to do a little bit of research on this, because I'm telling you, like, all I said, the only thing that prompted this was I was basically like, I'm not a flat earther, but they have some interesting points. So now I've been backed into this corner to where I've got to defend being a flat earther, and I'm not a flat earther. Like, if you look at the percentages, I'm 80% in y'all's corner. But, just like when you were explaining like why you would fly in a curve because it's shorter at the top, and Jeff's like, oh, you just proved your own point. It's like, no, I can see the points from both sides. I mean, there's some parts of it that make sense. I think flat earthers have to explain a lot of stuff, like satellites. That's one thing that in the weather. So it's like I've been pushed into this forcefully, and it's like, hey, defend this. So I've had to do a shitload of research, more research than I care to admit that I've had to do on this shit. So
no, it's all good. But I appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Jeff stepped out. My kid, he was wanting crackers or something. So I don't know. But anyway, listen. So when's your next flight?
I'm back for 2 weeks. So it's I got food plots to plan. I got to check on a rice field. I'm thinking about dropping boards on a more cell unit for teal. I'm going back and forth on it. So
you go back about 5th or 6th of September. You go back.
Yeah, September the 5th.
And then what? So how does that? What's your schedule like? Is it 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off?
Yep, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. So that's why if people are listening and thinking about flying and they're duck hunters and they want time to do it, you're gone. When you're gone, you are gone. But when you're back, you're back. You can get a lot of stuff done.
Is there ever like a scenario where they're like, hey, we really need you. I know you're on your 2 weeks off, but you got to do this flight.
Yeah, all the time. This Africa trip was one of them. I had to come on 5 days early. But I knew the per diem was going to be extreme, because I think we were making like $200 a day per diem. And after the whole song and dance, I spent
$400.
So, yeah. So,
do y'all open up September 1st? Y'all have a dove season there?
Yeah, I think we got a big hunt here around Moon Lake area. September the 2nd, I planned, but yeah. So, and then I think teal is, so first is dove, and then teal starts around the 10th, I think, goes for 2 weeks. But the thing Mississippi did, we have an early velvet season now for deer.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, so we're really kind of trying to, I think it's September the 17th, 18th, and 19th. And so we're really, my goal is to get a bunch of deer stuff going. And then, like I said, I'm nervous about this duck season.
Just because of the water?
To be honest with with the Pacific. Well, first, it's dry. Second, you got the last major El Nino they talked about was like 2019, I think it was.
Right.
And it was horrible. At least here it was.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. And then you got
Yeah, I was looking at something about that the other day. I guess it's supposed to come on late September, early October. I think they're predicting a strong El Nino.
Yeah.
It's supposed to start raining in September.
Which is
Jeff's back. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's supposed to start raining.
He said they're dry.
Where
he is.
We're
Fuck,
dry.
everywhere is dry in the whole fucking United States just about. You're either flooding or you're dry. But it's supposed to, there's no in between. There's nobody like, we've had good rains this year.
Good call on that one, Jeff.
Start in September.
September's next week.
September's supposed to start raining in September and going to rain all the way through February, March, April.
So what made it so bad with the Pacific warming, you think?
Well, it's just all seasonal. I mean, the big one that the Pacific dictates our weather, our winter or summers, but the Atlantic. I mean, I think a month ago the Key West water temperature was 101 degrees.
Right. Ooh, that's hot.
Yeah. Well, so that was another thing that I saw was there's never been an El Nino where the Atlantic was as hot as it is.
Exactly. So I don't know, because I don't recall this ever being it's flying all the time. You get curious, start looking this. So I don't know what this winter is going to look like because of the two factoring together.
Right.
So
because they were looking at El Ninos from the past, but they're like all the El Ninos, we don't have any data that with the Atlantic being as hot as it is. So it's like really we kind of don't know what this El Nino is going to look like.
We ought to have some bad hurricanes if the Atlantic's 100 degrees.
Well, so the only thing that this El Nino is doing right now is that I think it's called the subtropical jet stream. Any wind shear is a hurricane's worst enemy. It comes off the coast of Africa around the equator. Right. I think the Capricorn's the north one. As soon as it hits that jet stream, it kills it. So once that jet stream moves, there's going to be a lot of water probably in places.
I hope it's in West Texas. That's all I can hope for.
Yeah.
Well, listen, be safe. Yeah. Have a great dove season. Kill them up in late September, and stay safe out there, my friend. This has been a lot of fun.
I appreciate y'all. Thanks,
sir. Hey, thank you. Bye-bye. Appreciate it. God bless you, bud. So are we still at 23 to 25%, or are we going down any?
I'm at 23%.
23% the earth is flat.
77 that it is
round.
Round.
Poor stigma you're putting on your children. They're never going to be known as, oh, Andy, their dad's a hunting guide, or he's got a podcast. It's going to be his fucking dumbass dad's a flat earther.
Have you seen,
I used to play chess when I was in the Army. I played. I was unbeatable. I was very, very good at it. With chess, there's ratings.
How do I pause this?
And chess master.
Kramer's a chess player. Evidently, he's a pretty good chess player, too. So he's talking about he's in LA, and you'll just have to listen.
2100, and I was playing.
Hold on.
I saw a guy that was a chess playing savant at Harvard, and God Almighty, this old man looked like a bum. He was killing those kids.
This is funny.
On a 2100 level.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. So I'd been playing that machine for weeks. And then I happened to be out on Hollywood Boulevard, standing in the corner, and I saw this man, tattered, dirty. He was a street person. He had a chess set there to play. I said, "You play chess?" He said, I do.
But he's a homeless guy.
It's a homeless guy. And I said, "Yeah, he plays." I said, "I'll tell you what, I'll play you a game." He goes, "Hey, I'll play you 2 games. I beat you 2 times. You can't play me no more." Puts out his hands, see who's going to go first. Black, white. I pick. I'm white. That means I have the first move. I already have the advantage.
Now you sitting on the sidewalk?
I'm sitting on the sidewalk with him. I'm down here like this.
Right.
So I move my piece out. He moves his piece out very quickly. Boom. I said, oh, he stops that move. So I move out the knight out. He moves out the pawn. He moves out the bishop. And in 2 minutes, he's moving it and got me in a defense. Boom. Checkmate. I went, whoa. He checkmated me in 2 minutes. Nobody has ever checkmate me in 2 minutes. Nobody, not even the machine, can checkmate me in 2 minutes. But this time I said, okay, let's play. Let's play chess. Makes me pick. I go first again. Okay. Eileen Ann comes. He moves out his knight. Twists his time. He moves out his knight. I move my bishop. Bop, bop, bop. Checkmate! Faster than the first time. So now he's putting his stuff away, and I'm going, come on, let's play again. Let's play. He goes, no. I beat you 2 times. You can't play me no more. And I'm walking down, following the guy down the street.
Argument.
Going, come on, let's play. He goes, no, you leave me alone. You don't want to play. I don't want to play. I'm going, come on, let's just play another game. Come on. He wouldn't play me. I went home. I called a friend who's a professional chess player. I called him up. I said, Leon, I played a guy on the street who beat me twice. And he goes, yeah, you played a savant. When I'm in tournament in a city, I look for those guys to play those guys. I said, you beat him? He goes, never.
Really?
Really. I always thought, God, can you get one of those guys in a tournament? Imagine. He says, you can't hold them in place. They're crazy. But they're unbeatable.
So he could really be the greatest chess player in the world.
Most likely.
But he's like, you can't get them in a tournament. They're crazy. But could you just imagine him, Michael Richards, running down Hollywood Boulevard, chasing a homeless guy with a chess
set.
With a chess set.
They were playing in Harvard, and there was tables, and I'm talking. I'd never seen this before. I mean, I've seen guys in a park play 1 or 2 people, but they had. I bet there was 5, 6 tables with 4 or 5 people on each table playing chess.
Right.
And they had the little timers they'd hit and shit. And there was a guy there that smoked cigarettes that never ever didn't have a cigarette going, and he looked about like Kramer if Kramer was homeless. And he was kicking these Harvard kids' asses.
Really?
And I wondered if he was an old professor, if he was just, but I mean, the crowd he was around, he probably was a very intelligent person.
Right.
And he was beating everybody's ass because I watched him for like, Mom was shopping, and I watched him for 30 minutes to an hour. Just sit and watch him, and he was kicking everybody's ass.
Really?
And there was a line of people wanting to play him. And he was like well known. I mean, like
he was the guy.
Oscar is the guy you got to try to beat.
Right.
And now this was on the campus. This was on Harvard's campus.
Right.
But it's a little shopping deal there, a trendy little area and stuff. But he did not fit in. Everybody else had on the polos, and you could tell.
He might have been a savant.
And I don't know, but he was fucking kicking their ass at fucking chess. And I'll bet if we go back again this fall and we go there, because we go there every time we go, I'm going to look for him and see if he's there.
Right.
Matter of fact, if he does, I'm going to try to see if I can get him on the podcast, because I bet he'd be an interesting fellow.
I bet not.
You don't think he'd be interesting?
I think he'd be too smart. I think he would get bored. I think.
Well, that could happen too.
Guys that have an extreme intelligence, like even when I've not listened to them, but like whenever you hear Elon on Rogan, like he's just so far out there. Like he's thinking about so much at the same time, and it just, as an interviewer, you got to be on your game.
See, guys like that don't make good teachers either, because they don't understand why you don't get what they get.
Right.
You know, like if he tries to explain something to you, he's not a good he doesn't do a good job of explaining, because he thinks
just
you
knows
should
it.
get it.
It's just easy.
You know, why don't you understand that? It's real simple.
Right.
It's like math. I don't understand people that don't understand math.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because you can be Reese's tutor.
Okay.
Oh.
What's he doing?
New math.
Oh, we'll be doing the old way of doing it, but the answers are the same.
But I know that. But like the protocol, you got to show your work and shit. And I don't. We're adding to subtract. We're doing this, and I'm just like, basic math is very easy to me. You got your numbers, and like he's doing things on 10,000, so it's like you're here and you borrow and this and that, and like it's. I don't know why we fucked with math.
Math is the same as it was when the cavemen were here.
It should have been, but I think somebody was looking for a job in the teachers administration and was like, you know what? Let's fuck with math. Let's make them add to subtract and do all these other things and do all these unnecessary steps to get the exact same answer.
Yeah, I don't get all that shit, and you see it all the time. But math is very simple for me, so I don't understand people that don't get it.
Well,
I mean, I can do fractions in my head and percentages. Boom, and it just comes easy to me. So when I have to explain to someone, well, I don't understand what 19% is. Are you a fucking idiot? It's real simple.
Well,
but
we're making kids dumber by all these unnecessary steps.
But also, if you put me in a 7th grade English grammar class, I would make an F. I don't get grammar. Never have. And never will. I'm too old for that now. So, but I don't understand changing that math. And I hate to be there for y'all. And I never did understand having to show work, because I never would show my work, because I could just do it in my head. And I thought, what a waste of time to have to go back and show this dumb teacher how to figure this out when, you know, it's the
I don't know how
the
teachers,
right.
I don't know how because like the teachers are my age. Well, any teacher that you have basically that hasn't been brought up through the new math, like unless you've got a brand new teacher, chances are they learn math the same way that I did. So it's like they had to relearn everything to be able to teach these kids how to do new math. So I don't know. Are you watching the debate tonight?
Fuck no. My guy's not in it, so I ain't watching it.
Not a good look for him. Not a good look.
It doesn't matter. His numbers will go up. He has nothing to prove. He's the Republican nominee. They're wasted time right now. There's nobody made close.
Yeah, but he should still get up there and debate.
Well, what's he gonna? He's got something. He has nothing to show. He showed what he could do as a president before COVID. How great it was. Great. I don't understand. I wish he would. I'm sure when the next couple of debates, after they thin out the herd a little bit, I'm sure he will debate.
He said he's not debating.
Well, he don't have nothing to gain by it anyways. Now, what he's doing is giving Biden an excuse to not debate him.
He has to debate him in the presidential.
Why? There's no law that says you have to debate. You just debate.
Really?
There's no law that says there's no law that says you have to show your tax returns either. No, there's no law that says that he has to debate. Biden has to debate him for being president. Biden isn't going to debate
No, he's not.
Kennedy.
Either. No.
But yeah, I don't. Trump has nothing to gain by that. When it got down to two people, who do you think is going to be the deal? Right now, I think the Vivek guy is probably the second best candidate in the Republican side.
Yeah,
And I don't even know nothing about him.
Probably.
I don't trust anybody that's been in politics a long time.
Well, I'm not going to
None
watch
of
this
them.
because it's going to be boring without Trump there.
Yeah, Trump made it fun. I won't watch it at all. But I'm going to watch. Hard Knocks did not come on last night.
Really?
No, I tried to watch it. Me and Mom sat down and watch it at 10 o'clock last night. It wasn't on. It was supposed to have been released.
I don't know.
I've really enjoyed that. Aaron Rodgers has turned out to. This has been good for his
brand.
Yes,
well, I
his
don't know about
brand.
that because he lost the $3 million State Farm deal. So,
Did he?
Yep.
Why?
I don't know. I just saw it this morning.
Somebody else pick him up. He's good.
He took the $35 million pay cut, and then he lost the $3 million State Farm deal.
Well, he doesn't look like he's too worried about money.
No, I don't think he is, but
He's got that fuck you money.
big time.
But anyways, his brand has really improved with this show. He's been very humbling to work with the young guys, and he makes it look so easy.
Yeah.
Like when he was talking about, well, y'all need 8 guys out there. He's just that good. And Salee talks about him when he throws the ball. Just what a fucking throw, Nobody else is making that throw.
He's special.
If he goes and wins the Super Bowl with the Jets, does he legitimize himself as the second best quarterback ever?
Above who? Or who's he taking? Who do you have above him now?
I'm not a Manning fan,
You would put Manning above him?
but Peyton Manning has got to be number 2 or number 3 as the greatest quarterback of all time. He was a professor on the field. He was.
He beat you with his mind.
He was so fucking smart. When them games with him and Ray Lewis playing against each other, those were some good days.
I don't know, because isn't that basically what you saw with Manning? He went to another team and won a Super Bowl there.
Yeah, but they didn't win a Super Bowl because of him. They won because of their defense.
Yeah, but didn't they go the year before that and lost?
Who?
Broncos.
I don't think so.
Didn't they go to 2 Super Bowls with Manning?
No, just one. Pretty sure. They won the year that they beat Cam Newton because of Von Miller. Is the reason they won that Super Bowl. It wasn't because of Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning hadn't even been benched for that Trevian Simeon. Or Trevor Simeon or whatever his name was. I think right now Tom Brady is by far the greatest quarterback to ever play a game. I don't think it's even going to ever be close.
Yeah.
There'll be a LeBron James to Michael Jordan. It'll come down sometime. And maybe Patrick Mahomes is that guy. Patrick Mahomes might win 3 or 4 more Super Bowls in his lifetime. But right now, I would say that Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback ever. And I would say right now that Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning would be 2 and 3, and Mahomes is probably 4. Joe Montana was a great quarterback. There's no doubt about it.
Yes,
And
he lost to Seattle
Manning did?
in Denver.
Okay.
2014, and then in 2016 he
Yeah. I would
beat
put
Carolina.
I would put Manning as number 2 or 3. And I think Aaron Rodgers is the opposite of that. And then Joe Montana, Terry Bradshaw, great quarterback. But god dang, the whole fucking defense is in the Hall of Fame from them teams.
I don't really. That's a tough argument because I don't really put a whole lot of those guys.
Roger Staubach was a great athlete and quarterback. He would have been a phenomenal quarterback today. He could run, he could throw, he was smart, could read a defense and throw the ball. But Patrick Mahomes is quickly coming up that list.
If he puts another 1 or 2 in there, he's going to be able to make a case.
Yes, but I don't think there's nobody will ever unseat Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady is probably the greatest football player ever. The funny thing is I saw a deal the other day in Michigan, and the greatest players ever played off Michigan, Tom Brady. Tom Brady was a backup at Michigan. I don't think he ever started a game at Michigan.
Don't act like you love him now. He never fucking played for you.
Yes, but I am a.
I don't know, but yeah, if he can go there but look at what all he's bringing in.
They got a great defense.
They've got a great defense, but that's kind of the he took that page from Tom Brady and Peyton Manning whenever Manning went to Denver. Go to places that have good defenses. Rodgers' line is probably going to get him killed
This year?
Yeah, it's not very good.
Well, then that'll be a problem at all. But I tell you what, he's smart when he talks about throwing the ball away and shit. Mm-hmm. Just such a smart guy. And I'm gonna tell you what, I don't know what'll ever happen of Zach Wilson. But the best thing happened to Zach Wilson is going to get to play 2 years behind Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
and maybe he ends up becoming that starter for the Jets down the road. Aaron Rodgers set for 4 years or 5 years. People forget about that stuff. They say Jordan Love is looking pretty good at Green Bay right now.
Right.
And I thought Aaron Rodgers was really nice about him. He didn't say nothing bad. Ben Roethlisberger could have learned some stuff from Aaron Rodgers.
What do you mean?
Ben Roethlisberger was a dick to everybody that was played behind him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, big time. But not my job to teach you how to play and blah, blah, this and that.
I don't know, because reports out of Green Bay is that he was kind of that way with Jordan Love, but
that's what I'd heard too. So I don't know if he's changed, but he obviously on the camera at the Jets, he's looked like he's been a real team player,
right?
And I think he's appreciating getting to play for a couple more years and took a lot of it for granted his first years with Green Bay.
Yeah,
but if Green Bay hits it with Jordan Love and he turns out to be a good quarterback, they are a blessed franchise.
Woo.
Dallas Cowboys the same way. They went from Tony Romo to Dak Prescott, 2 really good quarterbacks that they didn't waste any draft picks on. Jerry Jones is the most underrated general manager in football. He's got a hell of a roster he's built.
Yeah, but he gets in his way a lot.
He falls in love with his players.
He does dumb shit once he's got them there.
Yeah, like keeping Zeke for all that money hurt them.
Yes. And now they're going to pay a shitload of money to Dak.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
But you have to.
Yes.
It's the same argument as Justin Herbert.
I talked to a guy at the wedding about that. We talked about Dak, and he said something. He said, "You're not a Cowboy fan?" No. What about Dak? I said, "I think Dak's very underappreciated." I said, "I don't think Dak is a top 5 quarterback. But I said, I think Dak's a top 15 quarterback. And even if he's number 15, who the fuck are you going to get to replace him? Teams can't find quarterbacks. You going to go get Gardner Minshew? You're going to go get Taylor Heineke? I mean, those are the guys that are on free agents that you can go sign.
Right.
There's no big free agent. The Chargers aren't going to trade you Justin Herbert for him. Fucking, you can go get Trey Lance. I don't know that San Francisco would trade you Brock Purdy for Dak Prescott.
They like Purdy.
They do. I don't know. Would Seattle trade Geno Smith for Dak Prescott?
Oh, yeah.
You think so?
I don't. Yeah, Geno's got a stigma around him. Like, how many people turn it on that late in their career?
Not disagreeing with you on that at all, but I'm just saying, would you, Seattle, what are you gaining by trading for Dak? That's what I mean. I don't know that there's a market for
Dallas wouldn't never make that trade because, like I said,
that would be stupid
they
for
feel
them.
like Geno.
Right.
I think the sentiment, now, if Geno has another year where he's up there, maybe, but
look,
I don't know.
Look at the NFC East right now. Jalen Hurts, Philadelphia would not even give you a time of day to trade for Dak Prescott for Jalen Hurts. I'm not so sure the Giants think they'd be getting an upgrade over Daniel Jones from Dak. Hal, that would be an upgrade. Redskins would be better with Prescott than Hal probably, but Hal kid looks pretty good.
He did.
But, I mean, there's just not a lot of teams out there. If Tua's healthy, Miami's not trading him. Trevor Lawrence, you're not trading him. Atlanta would trade you a quarterbacks in a heartbeat for Dak.
Right.
But there's not a lot of given, I think Dak Prescott is a Kirk Cousins.
Yep. Steady Eddie.
And a good guy, a good person, doesn't cause any off-field problems, but don't know if he's the man to win a Super Bowl.
Tough to do.
I wouldn't be giving him $50 million, but like you said, what else are you going to do? That's the going rate now.
Same with Justin Herbert. And I think Justin Herbert is better than Dak, probably.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade Justin Herbert for Dak Prescott in a heartbeat. It wouldn't even close. I think Justin Herbert's got a lot bigger window, and I think he's got a lot more going for him.
But you got to pay the guys.
Yep, you have to. And he's fixing to get a big-ass paycheck.
Dak?
But no, Herbert. Did he get one already?
Did.
Did they? Okay. Well, what's he making, $50 million a year?
Yeah, they just
Probably.
redid that.
All right, it's been 2 hours. We got another podcast
hold on.
today.
I got to figure out what Justin Herbert's contract is. 5 years, $262 million.
Wow.
Justin Herbert. Payday.
All right, I got a call I got to take. Thanks. See you.
Call.
God bless you. Have a great day. Bye.
Go check out our great sponsors. Go check out Hemp Hill Farms. You're getting older. You got owies. I'm sore today. Hemp Hill Farms. Get all your CBD needs. Alpha Outdoor Specialties. Shin Gear. Looking Glass Podcast. Lucky Duck. Ducks Unlimited. Double T British Kennels. Mossberg. Stanfield Outfitters. Boss Shot Shells. Pacific Calls. Dive Bomb Industries. And Dirty Duck Coffee.